What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Survivor Speaks. And today we are playing with my headphones. Today we are going to um, continue the rewind of the Darrell Brooks trial. And so I don't want to keep you here too long. But um, we're going to take care of some legalities, get some legalities out of the way, and then we're going to come back and get right into the stream. Right into the stream. All right. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get some legalities out of the way as I'm right back. Wait a minute.
This video is being shown to you under the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And we're out.
Full cycle, I just might though just like a Michael. Mama gone now, I'm thinking death is not we entitled. And it was me versus me, them battles had to fight through. And when you way in the dark, them demons try to fight you. But you can't let them when you gotta see the damn light. Diabetes came from nowhere, messed up whole life. That's what I used to think, my mama helped me out. I got one Darrell and just gotta make proud, don't count me out. Let's get it started, rest in peace my mama, I don't wanna talk. Fresh fit, who that little nigga, fresh the way he walk. New drip, I'm that one dude creating all the sauce. News flip, you that one do the worker, not a boss. It's safe to say that after all this, I'm standing tall. It's safe to say that after all this, I'm still gon' ball. It's safe to say that after all this, I never fall. I never fall.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? As I said, today we are doing the rewind to the of the Darrell Brooks trial. Our hearts and prayers still go out to the Waukesha community. We're still all praying for you, and we're hoping that you are healing in some type of way. As you all know, the date of the Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy is soon approaching. It's coming up November 21st. Is the anniversary date of the tragedy that Darrell Brooks caused, and it's going to be such a reminder for the community and the citizens of Waukesha. So we're just doing a little rewind so you guys can all take a look and see how, you know, not only did you terrorize this community, but you also came into the court of law and acted like a pure fool. So you get whatever it is you deserve. And that's all I got to say about that. So we're going to get right into the trial, and we're going to pick up on day 4. It's going to be played at speed 1.5. So if you come into the chat and if you come into the channel and 1.5 is too fast, let me know. But we've been rewinding on the Daryl Brooks trial on playing it on 1.5, and it has been fine, up until now. So we're going to go ahead and start the show. Make sure if you're in here, if you're in the bushes, I don't care where you at, hit the like button. I won't know that it's you if you hit the like button from the bushes. Just hit the like, go back in the bushes. I know I have people in the bushes. You people in the bushes have memberships, and I don't remember you ever being present on the lives. So hit the like button for your sister. You ain't gotta say, just hit the like for me. Thank you. All right, let's get right into this Daryl Brooks fiasco. That's what it is. And we are picking up right where we left off yesterday. I do not want to get, hold on. Hold on one second, y'all. Excuse me. Let me. Oh, okay. That wasn't even for me, but here we go. Day 4. We're starting at 1 hour, 22 minutes, 45 seconds that we did yesterday. Let's get right into it.
Can you recall if you saw the driver of the vehicle?
I don't remember seeing the driver.
Were you able to catch a glimpse of the license plates?
No.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows?
I don't remember.
About how far from the vehicle were you when he passed you?
From the red SUV?
About how far from the vehicle were you when he passed you?
Can you tell me which vehicle you're talking about?
How far from the vehicle were you when he passed you? The vehicle that went around your Blazers vehicle.
I guess I would ask the defendant to be more clear as to what vehicle and when it went around. Like at the beginning of the parade, before it struck his kids.
I was just clear. I said the vehicle that went around his Blazers.
Sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
The vehicle that you observed, or rather I'll say the vehicle that you observed approaching. About how far from it were you when it passed you?
Actually, just to clarify, is he saying the red SUV that this witness has described as that red SUV was approaching him, or some other vehicle?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Well, I thought he was clear when he said that there
You
was
have to
only
be clear
one
with your
vehicle.
question, Mr. Brooks.
Excuse me, Your Honor?
You have to be clear with your question. It's vague.
He
As
said
to the
it was
word
only one.
vehicle, you need to be clear which vehicle you're questioning the witness
The
about.
vehicle that was approaching. That he said
At
was
what
approaching.
point in time, what color is the vehicle, something like that, sir.
The vehicle that you observed striking you. How close were you to that vehicle when it passed you?
The red SUV was about 10 feet probably from me.
And you didn't see the driver, correct?
Correct.
Did you see anyone else in the vehicle?
I did not look in the vehicle.
Let me know.
That's a no.
Thank you.
Would it be fair to say that 10 feet from a vehicle is pretty close?
Subjective.
What would you say? Would you say that's pretty close?
It depends what you're talking about.
Would you say that 10 feet is pretty close to a vehicle?
Depends. If they're driving, yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's close enough to be able to see who was driving?
It depends on many other factors.
What would those factors be?
Eyesight, windows up, down. If they're looking at the vehicle,
I'm assuming it would be fair to say that you were definitely looking at the vehicle, right? Would that be fair to say?
when?
When it was approaching and when it passed?
Yes.
Any reason why you would not try to identify the driver?
Because my children were about to be...
And you might try to see if you can catch a license plate?
Because people had just been hit.
So it would be fair to say because of what you were observing, that would be a reason why you didn't try to get a description of the driver or the license plate?
My priority at the time was not identifying the driver.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Sir, you had indicated that you submitted a claim to the victim witness program for medical bills. Is that correct?
Correct.
Were those the medical bills for Caden and Riley that were incurred as a result of the red SUV hitting both of those children?
Yes.
Overruled. His answer, Ms. Dan.
And it was yes?
Yes. Sure.
Thank you. No further questions, thank you.
All right. Thank you. You may step down. All right. You may call your next witness.
Today we call Josh Crater.
Good morning, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is up a riser to my right. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in. Thank you, sir. Please be seated. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each, please.
Joshua Craner, Joshua, Craner, Kraner.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sir, at your attention to November 21st of last year, 2021. Were you at the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes, I was.
And were you a participant or a spectator?
Participant.
And what group were you with?
The Waukesha Blazers.
And what was your affiliation with the Waukesha Blazers?
I'm a head coach of the Slammers, which was at the time a 9U baseball team.
How long had you been involved with the Blazers?
Just a couple months.
Did you have any children that were part of the Blazers program?
Yes, my son.
And how many kids?
Just one.
Okay. So on that day, were you there with your son or daughter?
My son and my wife.
Okay. And you were marching with the Blazers?
Yes.
Do you recall what you were doing? Were you handing out candy, handing out flyers?
We were handing out flyers.
To support the Blazers program?
Yeah, to recruit people for the rookie program.
What did the Blazers have afloat in the parade?
We had a truck.
Okay. And was it marked with the Blazers logo on it?
Yes.
Do you recall what color it was?
No.
Okay. And where were you in relationship to the truck? Was the truck in front of the people with the Blazers, or was the truck behind the people?
We had players on both sides of the vehicle. I was walking the majority back of behind the truck during the parade.
Okay. Did there come a time when you heard a commotion behind the truck?
Yes.
Can you describe to the jury what exactly you heard?
I heard screaming.
Now, you were at a parade, so I'm assuming as part of a parade there's normally screening. Was it something different?
Yes.
Can you describe it?
Horrific.
I'm sorry?
Horrific.
Okay. What did you do?
I turned around to look at what was going on.
What did you see?
I saw a red Ford Escape up on the curb. I saw people throwing themselves out of the way.
Now, when you say you saw the vehicle up on the curb, can you describe that for the jury, what you mean by that?
It wasn't in the roadway.
So I'm assuming the parade is taking place on Main Street in the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
And the cars and the parade participants would be within the areas between the two curbs?
Yes.
And this car was up on a curb?
What I remember, yes.
Okay. Did you see that car strike any people?
No.
Okay. You saw people running from the area that the car was coming from?
Yes.
What did you do?
I instantly tried to find my son.
How old is your son?
He's 10 now.
9 at the time of the parade?
Yes.
Where was he when you last saw him before looking to your back when you heard the commotion?
He was on the left side of the truck.
And did you see him when you looked back?
No.
Then what happened?
I was struck by the vehicle.
When did the vehicle strike you?
I don't remember.
Did you have injuries as a result of the vehicle striking you?
Yes.
And what were those injuries?
I couldn't walk. I was in the hospital. I had contusions. I had bone bruises.
Did the vehicle, when it struck you, or after it struck you, did the vehicle continue on with its path of travel down the parade route?
Yes.
Overruled.
And did you see the path it took after striking you?
Yes.
Where did it go?
Forward.
Could you tell if it went straight ahead, swerved one way or the other way?
No.
Hey, Don.
Overruled. He may answer.
I know you was never here, Don. Thank you for coming. Make sure
When
you
you
hit that
were
like
if you were to
before
the
you.
left of the Blazers truck?
Nightbot, you ain't coming here
and
in
was on the
time out my
You were you not to the
friend,
ground?
like
Yes.
Nightbot.
What do you recall after the truck went past, as you're laying on the ground?
I just remember tires going by.
Going over you or just by you?
When I first recall it, it seemed like it was going over me.
Nightbot came in here
But I
and
can't.
moved my-
Yeah, so
You
yeah.
about to be
And what did
banned.
you next recall?
People coming over to me.
Okay. Did you see yourself?
Oh, he just
No.
gave you a warning.
Did you eventually meet up
Don,
with
you
your
already
son
know how Nightbot
while you were
is.
still on Main Street?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Was he injured?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been previously
Yeah,
received
I'm
as
gonna
State's
have-
Exhibit
I
11,
told
and I'm going to
Nightbot
ask that be
to
published to the
stop
jury
it.
here for the jury. Do you see yourself? It's been paused at 18 seconds. Do you see yourself in this still shot?
Yes.
And that's you marching the parade, correct? Do you know, was the truck playing any music as the parade was? Did you guys have any sound coming from your area?
I do not remember.
Okay. Do you recall if you heard a horn honking after seeing the red SUV?
No.
You did not hear any horn honking?
No.
Next, I'm going to show you Exhibit 148, which has been previously admitted into evidence. I'd ask that be published to the jury. What did you see in that video, sir?
Being struck. Fine.
And that would have been where he was at that time of the parade?
Yes, on the left side.
Do you recall where Jackson Tucker Sparks were at that time?
No.
Have nothing further? No, thank you.
All right, you may take the video down, please. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna leave that same video.
All right, let me know when you need it. Go ahead, you may start your cross.
Can you pull that exhibit up again, 148? Can you identify for the jury where you are in this video if you see yourself? You can unpause it. From just looking at the video, have you seen this video before today?
Just still shots of it, not the video itself.
So it'd be fair to say that this is only your second time seeing this video.
Yes.
Do you recall giving a statement to Officer Copel?
I don't remember the name of the officer.
Do you recall giving a statement to Officer?
An FBI agent? Yes.
Do you recall if you gave them a summary of what you remember, if you actually wrote the statement yourself?
I don't think I wrote it.
Do you recall saying that you needed a walker to assist you in moving?
Yes.
Would it be fair? Grounds.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that you're walking pretty good as of now?
Objection.
Grounds. Just walking good.
Sustained. Not relevant.
Did you also remember stating that you don't remember much from the event?
I do not remember saying that.
And I guess it would be the statement that you gave to the officer, which I have right here. It says that you stated that you don't remember much from the event, but made it clear that your primary concern was needing to know where your children were after being struck. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you did after being struck?
I could not move. I was on the ground.
Do you recall how long before you were moved from your position?
A couple minutes.
Were you helped by someone, or?
Yes, 2 people.
And where did they take you?
Into the joke shop.
And from there, did you receive any medical attention?
Yes.
Do you recall where that was?
Memorial Hospital.
You recall who took you to Memorial Hospital?
A squad car.
Do you remember the officer's name?
No.
Do you recall what date you made the report to the officer? Or the date that you were interviewed, rather?
Which time?
So there was more than one time?
Yes.
Do you recall making or giving an interview, rather, on the 24th of November of 2021?
Yes.
Do you recall what date the other report was taken?
The night of.
Do you remember by whom that night?
An FBI agent.
After being struck, you testified that you saw the vehicle kind of go up. Would that be fair to say?
Can you ask that again?
What did you see the vehicle do after it struck you?
After it struck me, I continued.
What did you see it do?
Drove off.
Did you see it strike anyone at that point?
No.
Or were you able to get a look at the driver in any way?
No.
A license plate number in any way?
No.
You testified for the jury earlier that you heard screams from behind before you were struck. Would that be?
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle approaching at that point? Did you turn to see if anything was approaching at that point, rather?
Yes.
About how far was the vehicle away from you at that time that you observed it?
20 yards.
You were able to make that assumption how?
I'm a coach and we go off yards a lot.
That makes sense. Would it be fair to say that that's relatively close?
Yes.
Close enough for you to see into the vehicle?
I did not see into the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say that at no time during the incident you saw the driver?
No, I did not.
And just so I'm correct for the record, you said that you said that your children were not injured in the incident. Would that be fair to say?
Not physically.
Right.
The witness answered it. His answer may stand, so the objection is overruled.
And when you were treated at Memorial Hospital, did you receive any pain medication, Tylenol, ibuprofen, anything like that?
Yes.
Do you recall how long you had to be treated before you were discharged?
1 day.
In the days after the event, did you file any claim whatsoever?
Can you be more descriptive?
Did you file a claim as an injured party?
Yes.
Do you remember who that was with?
No.
So would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Absolutely.
So you would consider yourself to be a plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained on relevance grounds. And under 90611 as well.
Find this matter?
The DA?
Can you point out for the jury which DA?
No.
Do you see him in court?
No.
Do you recall the name of the DA that you're referring to?
I guess.
Has relevance for the
Grounds.
hearing.
Sustained. He's already indicated that the district attorney's office issued the subpoena.
Well, actually, he said the DA, so that was pretty vague.
Sir, did you mean the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Next question, please.
Were you subpoenaed?
Yes.
Do you recall the name on the subpoena?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
So to the best of your knowledge, you're not aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, you have never seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Have you ever seen or read a complaint in this matter of any kind?
Yes.
Would you state what that was for the record and for the jury?
I just saw it in the news.
And seeing stuff on the news would amount to a complaint?
Sorry, I misheard your question. Can you ask it again?
Have you read or seen a complaint in this matter?
No.
But it would be fair to say, just based on your testimony, that you saw reporting on the incident in the news. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you saw in the news?
Just information about the trial?
Did you see anything before the reported trial?
No.
Would it be fair to say that this matter has been going on for quite some time, that there were a lot of reports in the news? Would that be fair to say?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Ms. Brooks, unless you can tie it into relevance with this witness, I'm inclined to sustain
I'm
an objection.
going somewhere with it.
Then just ask the question, sir.
Have you yourself seen anything in the news before the scheduled trial in regards to this matter?
Yes.
Can you state for the record and for the jury what that was?
Just information about the trial itself?
Did you at any time see any reports about the alleged defendant at any time?
Mr. Brooks, I'm gonna, under 9611, this is not a witness who identified the driver, so I'm not sure where the relevance is of this. We'll take it up outside the presence of the jury once you're concluded with your questions, and I'll determine if there needs to be more
He
questions.
is the worst.
You testified a few minutes earlier that you really don't remember much after being struck. Do you recall where you were after being struck?
I was on the ground.
And about which area? Was it by the Blazers truck, relatively close to the curb, or about what position?
Near the truck.
Near the Blazers truck.
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle strike anyone before it struck you?
No.
No further questions.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Before he's excused, I'm just going to excuse the jury momentarily.
Uh-oh.
All right, please.
Uh-oh.
All right, thank you. Be seated.
Look how you're looking.
Mr. Questions about what this witness had seen on the news. I'll give you an opportunity to give me an offer of proof as to why you believe that's relevant, and specifically as to this witness.
Well, it's relevant because of
You don't know.
how close he testified to being away from the vehicle. He testified to being 20 yards away from the vehicle, which is not super close, but it's not far enough that you wouldn't be able to see a driver or see into the car.
Well, that's an argument, sir. So what questions would you have that you didn't already ask, and how does the news reports relate to that?
Maybe he may have seen the alleged defendant on the news, and maybe that may jog his memory back if he seen the driver.
But he testified he didn't see the driver. So
He also testified to never making the comment that he didn't remember the event, but it's clearly in his summary and in his report that he said that. So it's conflicting. His report is conflicting with what he's testifying. So I was trying to get at the credibility of it. That was my whole aim.
What does the news reports have to do with that, sir?
The news reports are relevant just by the sheer amount of reporting that they've been reported. This has been going on for a year.
That assumes facts, not an evidence, sir. So this witness did not identify you during this trial. This witness testified as to his observations regarding the date in question, his injuries, and other things surrounding what he saw and heard and what he didn't see here. So the news reports don't have any bearing on his credibility. The points that you bring up are arguments that you may make if you choose during your closing arguments. But the questions you were asking don't further that theory. So that's why I cut you off, because there was not anything that you were connecting by way of relevance.
With due respect, Your Honor, a lot of the questions I ask are objected to. It seems like I can't even get to the questions that need to be answered.
Sir, many of your questions go to these sovereign ideas that are frivolous arguments about the plaintiff and all of that. We give you a little bit of leeway. I give you a little bit of leeway on it, but to about a claim, because frankly it's a question, and many of these victims may in fact have made a claim with crime victim compensation, and so I think that's potentially relevant, but you may be asking it for a different purpose. I'm allowing it probably for a different purpose than you're anticipating, but the questions about the state and the plaintiff, other than when you talk about and you ask questions about who subpoenaed them, have they reviewed anything in preparation for their testimony, those are all fair game. But other questions are not, and that's why there's an objection, and that's why I rule the way that I do. So ask relevant questions, they'll be answered. So I don't see any need for this witness to be brought back in. I don't believe that witness was on Mr. Brooks's list, so that witness is excused. Who's the next witness?
Look at his face. Look at his face.
You can ask a question of the state. Let them answer, please. Mr. Brooks, let them answer. Hold on.
So the next witness that we had intended on calling is Detective Mike Carpenter with the Waukesha Police Department, who would provide testimony about his conducting the speed analysis of the vehicle. I don't expect that we'd be able to get through direct. Well, we might be able to get through direct.
I'd like to at least have him start. I want to go closer to the lunch hour today.
So the other issue is that we thought we were going to be breaking for lunch, so he's not in the building right now. We have another witness who is ready, who we could call out of order, but that would be moving into a new topic, a new group along the parade route. So we're fine with whatever the court wants to do.
I'd like to keep going, so I'll defer to you on which witness to call.
And Your Honor, I just note, I asked for it, maybe I did. Jeff Rogers, I know he has remained in the courtroom. He is a victim. Is he excused from his subpoena? He was not an individual who is who we were provided a subpoena for by Mr. Brooks.
He's excused.
Thank you.
All right, we'll bring the jury back out, and you may call. Quickly, Mr. Brooks.
You made reference to questions I asked him being, you said something to the effect of sovereign things. I don't understand what you mean by that.
You know exactly what you mean. Sovereign citizen. Nonsense. Jargon.
I got enough work to do on the fly. I'm definitely not trying to sit here and trying to anticipate what will be objected to, what will be ruled on in any way. I'm merely just, it was understood that this would be a whole new thing for me to do. I apologize if I'm not as polished as I should be, working on 3 days' time before trial.
That's why
you see all the work that I haven't even gone through.
Mr. Brooks, the jury's coming back in.
For the record, I don't consent to that name. There are relevant questions, as the jury deserves to know.
Please.
Oh,
the jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter. I think it's fair to them here to make an informed and intelligent decision. They should know who the plaintiff is.
So your objection's noted for the record.
Will legal finding fact on that ruling, Your Honor? Or is that judicial determination, Your Honor?
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, the state may call its next witness, please.
The state calls Alyssa Gajewski.
All right.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Alyssa Gajewski, Alyssagajewski.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Gajewski, how old are you?
23.
Do you have any familiarity with a group called the Extreme Dance Group?
Yes.
How do you know that group?
I used to coach there
How long were you a coach for the Extreme Dance Group?
about 4 years.
Can you tell us the time frame where that took place?
Yeah, so probably around 2018 to early 2022.
Where's that dance group headquartered? Where do you hold your practices?
It was at, it's 404 Travis Lane. I don't know Waukesha, so I don't know what road it's off of.
Okay, but it's in Waukesha?
Yes.
All right. And in general, what cities or municipalities did the dancers come from?
Waukesha.
What were the approximate age ranges of the girls that you instructed at Extreme?
Just myself.
The girls who were dancers, how old were they?
So we started at Itty Bitty, which was about 2-ish, and then my team was the oldest, so we went up to 8th grade.
What do you call your team?
So my team was called the Elite Team.
And what's the approximate age range of those girls?
6 to 8, 8th grade.
And you mentioned Itty Bitty was about 2, right?
About 2 to 3.
Are there any groups between those?
Yeah, so it's Itty Bitty, and then the tiny group, and then the mini group, and then the juniors, and then the elite.
And there's a continuum of age from Itty Bitty all the way up to the elite?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to Sunday afternoon, November 21st of 2021. Was your group, the Extreme Dance Group, marching in the Waukesha Christmas Parade that day?
Yes.
And were you present with the group?
Yes.
Were there any other instructors or coaches there?
Yeah, there was just one other.
And who was that?
Jamie Sutton.
Do you remember approximately how many from your dance group were present?
I had about 12. Jamie might have had around 10. Minis was around 4, maybe Tiny's 4, and Itty Bitties, I'm not sure, because they were just in strollers and stuff with their parents.
When you marched in the parade, were you in a specific formation?
Yes, we were.
And how were the different age groups organized in that formation?
So at the front, it would start oldest, and then it would go to youngest. So it would be elite, juniors, minis, tiny, and then the Itty Bitties with their parents.
Was there a vehicle or a float associated with your group in the parade?
Yeah, there was a truck.
What kind of truck?
It was
Pickup truck?
Yes. Yeah.
What's the objection? For answer my stand, I'll instruct the state to avoid leading questions.
Oh, you look so
About how many times
defeated.
did you make it through your routine during that parade?
I don't recall.
Was there a certain point when your dancers stopped dancing?
Overruled, you may answer.
Yeah, they did stop dancing.
Why?
Because there was a car that drove through.
I'm now going to ask that we project onto the screen for the witness only, exhibit number 33. Let me know when you see the screen in front of you.
I see it.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to just take as much time as you need, read all those names, and then describe for me what we're looking at.
It's the formation that the girls were in.
On the day of the parade?
Yes.
And does that accurately represent where each of those girls were in formation?
Yes.
And you've reviewed a diagram similar to this before your testimony, right?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 33 into evidence and ask for permission to publish.
Before I allow that, if you could ask her about the non-labeled boxes.
Sure. You can see that there are some boxes on this diagram that don't have names in them, is that right?
Correct.
What do those boxes represent?
Who wasn't injured?
But those are people? Those are
yes.
members of the dance group?
Yes.
To your knowledge, a box without a name is a person who wasn't hit?
Yes.
I'll give you my questions.
How is it legal to instruct the prosecution to ask a question if they should already know to ask?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 33 is received and permission to publish is granted.
Okay, can you, Ms. Gajewski, can you explain for us what the colors mean in this exhibit?
So they're each different team. So the yellow is the elite team, the green is the junior team, and the blue is the mini team. And there is 2 teams behind that, but they didn't have a formation, and that's why only these 3 are on here.
Okay. You testified earlier that you were marching in order of age, so the elites were in the front of the group, right?
Yes.
So the parade route, if we were moving forward, it would be the bottom of this page, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we project for the witness only, exhibit number 32, please?
Go ahead.
Do you recognize this video?
Not this video.
Okay. Do you recognize the truck
Yes.
at this point that we stopped at?
Yeah.
At 19 seconds?
Yeah.
What's the truck?
That's the truck that we had for Extreme.
During the Christmas parade?
Yes.
Did you recognize the people in front of the truck holding the banner?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. She may answer the question.
Yes.
Let's put a few more seconds just for the witness. Did you recognize the people coming into the screen from the left?
Yes.
Who were they?
Are dancers.
Does this video appear to be an accurate depiction of your group along the parade route during the Waukesha?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Did you sustain that objection?
I didn't rule on it.
You look so defeated.
Objection.
Oh,
Just objected to.
nobody heard you.
Are you making that decision now?
There's been a request by the state to receive Exhibit 32.
Objected.
All right, then your objection's noted. It's overruled.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
Exhibit 32 is received. The foundation has been laid, and permission to publish is granted.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
The record speaks for itself.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
You may play.
Gajewski, do you remember what you were wearing on your head, if anything at all, that day?
Yeah, I had a bright red hat on.
Do you see yourself in this at the 35-second mark of this video?
Yes.
Can you? That's a touchscreen in front of you. Can you use your finger and circle yourself? Okay. And we'll resume at the 35-second mark.
Found each please. Joshua Kramer, Joey Owens, H.W.
And we can take that down now. Thank you. So, Ms. Gajewski, let me just clarify.
Oh,
What did we see at the end of that video? Take some time.
A car going through the parade.
Is that the same vehicle that you remember seeing that day?
Yes.
Do you recall where you were standing at the point that the vehicle started to go through your girls in relation to the rest of the group?
Yeah, in relation to the rest of the group. I was on the side that was with all the names. But I don't remember like what stores I was by.
If you were standing in the middle of your group, were you on the left side or the right side?
Which way are you looking?
If you're walking down the parade route.
I'm looking towards the truck.
Yep.
I would be on the left side.
And you were towards the front?
Yes.
By the elite girls?
Yes.
Okay. After having watched that video just now in court, does it appear as though that diagram with the names that we looked at, Exhibit 33, does it appear as though that diagram was an accurate depiction of where the named girls were positioned at the time the SUV came into the group?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what's the objection?
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Okay. So now,
Yes.
okay. So now we'll put up Exhibit 34 for the witness, please. Now do you recognize the video?
Yeah.
What does it show?
The car going through and someone
Is
flying.
that an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it that day?
You already seen recognize the video.
Mischaracterizes her testimony. Your objection overruled. It is not hearsay. You may answer. And if you did answer, you can just repeat it.
Could you?
Is that video an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it unfold that day?
Yes.
Your answer may stand. Thank you.
I'm thirsty.
Yes.
There's a figure on the bottom, on the left side of the screen, appears to be wearing black with long hair. You recognize that person?
Yes.
Can you see any features in
Your that's argumentative. Your objection's noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
Hearsay.
Not hearsay. You may answer.
Clear hearsay.
You may answer.
Yes.
Who is that person we're looking at?
Jesselyn.
Ms. Gajewski, when you say Jesselyn, are you referring to Jesselyn Torres?
Yes.
She was a member of your dance group?
Yeah, she was on the junior team.
We can take that down. I'm going to ask that we play Exhibit 35 just for the witness. Do you recognize that video?
Yes.
What does it show?
The car going through.
Through your dance group?
Yes.
Was that an accurate video depicting the events that day?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 35 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Exhibit 35 is received permission to publish. Granted, your objection is noted for the record.
Again, this is 8 seconds long. We're going to turn the audio on for this video.
Is the video, who even took the video, is it relevant?
Sir, it's not an objection, it's a statement. We can ask questions later.
We missed that too.
Go ahead.
So, Judge, before we begin, I have to step in here and request that Mr. Brooks be instructed to stop making comments under his breath. This witness is very clearly having an emotional and difficult time testifying, and she doesn't need to hear that.
So, Judge, she can't hear anything I'm saying.
Mr. Brooks, the mics are very good in this courtroom, so please refrain. All right, keep going.
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. To the extent that there are comments on this video, those comments are not being offered. I would instruct the jury to disregard those in terms of the evidence. It's the video that's important.
So let's start with the first person on the top right, Vivian Urel. You knew Vivian Urel before November 21st, right?
Yes.
And do you recall seeing her either while the SUV was driving through or after?
It's not hearsay. Overruled.
I saw her after, not during, because I was in the front.
Can you describe the circumstances when you saw her after?
Hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to direct your attention to review section 908.01. You have a statute book. Please do that. It's not hearsay. Go ahead.
Yeah, she was on the side of the road.
Attorney Brooks.
In a fetal position.
Did you have any interaction with her?
Yeah, I did. I went in a squad car with her to the hospital.
Which hospital?
I think it's called Waukesha Memorial.
Here in Waukesha?
Yeah.
And did you observe any injuries to her?
Yeah, she had road rash on her chin.
Okay. Next, I want to ask you about Mackenzie Hollingsworth, the first top right green square there. Did you see her as the SUV was coming through?
I didn't see her as the SUV. I saw her at the hospital.
Waukesha Memorial?
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe how she looked at the hospital?
Yeah, she was laying on the ground. Her mom was on her side of her, and I was on her right, and I was holding her hand, trying to get her to squeeze my hand so she could stay awake. But she was going in and out of consciousness. She was asleep, and then she would wake up, sobbing, and it would just repeat.
I next want to ask you about Alice Urel, so the next green square down on that diagram. Did you see her as the SUV drove through?
I didn't see her get hit because it was just a blur, but I saw her body on the ground right after. She's the one that the first person I saw.
And did you have any interaction with her after the fact?
Yeah, I picked her up as soon as her body was right in front of me. I just picked her up because I didn't know what was about to happen.
What did you think had happened at that point?
I didn't know. I didn't know if there was going to be just a bunch of cars. So I just wanted to get her out of the way.
You already testified about Jesselyn Torres. So Jesselyn Torres, who's named in a green square there, is that the same Jesselyn Torres that you referenced when we watched Exhibit 34?
Yes.
Moving down the diagram, I'll ask you about Hearsay Becerra Montes. You recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Hearsay as the SUV came through the group?
I saw her after.
Where did you see her?
Behind the truck on the ground.
Which truck?
The same truck that was driving in front of all the girls.
That black pickup truck?
Yeah.
How close to the truck was she?
At the tailgate.
Was anybody else with her?
Yeah, her. I remember seeing her dad and her sister.
How did she appear to you in that moment, health-wise?
Just in shock.
Moving down the list to Julia Schlickow, excuse me. Did you see as the SUV was driving through the group?
I didn't see her as the SUV came through. I saw her at the hospital.
At Waukesha Memorial?
Yes.
How did she appear to you when you saw her at Waukesha Memorial?
She wasn't good.
Can you take a little bit of time and then tell us in a little bit more detail?
I was with Ken at the time, and at Waukesha Memorial there's a glass wall window, and I saw Julia in a wheelchair by herself with nurses around her, and she was kind of smudged over. She was in and out of consciousness as well, and so I ran over to her and told them her name, and they rushed her in the back because she was not doing well. And then when we got to the back, she started seizing and vomiting.
You saw this while you were with Kenzie, as you said?
I saw Julia when I was with Kenzie, and then I left and went with Julia, and then we went in the back to a room, and that's when she started seizing and puking.
Just so we can keep the name straight, who's Kenzie?
Mackenzie Hollingsworth.
And moving further down the diagram, towards the front, Sam Coelho. Recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Sam as the SUV went through the group?
I didn't see her with the SUV.
What about afterwards?
I didn't see her at the hospital either that night.
Do you remember providing a written statement with Detective Mandy Schwartz from the Waukesha Sheriff's Department shortly after this incident?
Yes.
I would ask that we project that statement for the witness only. Ms. Gajewski, do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Let's scroll down a little further. All right, just to yourself silently, I'd like you to read from where it says, saw another, to the words, so fast. Just read that silently, let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay. Do you remember now talking about what happened to Sam?
I didn't see Sam. I only saw her dad.
Okay. And you didn't see her in the hospital afterwards?
That night, no.
Did you see her in the days following this incident?
Overruled.
Yeah, as soon as the day she was able to have a visitor, I was there.
When you say visitor, what do you mean? Where was she?
Overruled.
She was at Children's.
Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know why she was there?
They moved her there just due to her injuries.
And you know she was injured as a result of what?
Overruled. She may answer what her knowledge of the injuries are.
Yeah, she was there because she was struck.
So, Ms. Gajewski, there's two remaining names there on the diagram, Isabella Bartels and Maddie Hollingsworth. Did you see either of them as the SUV went through the group?
I did not.
Did you see either of them in the immediate aftermath?
I did not.
Based on their position in that diagram and your review of the video evidence here in court, how would you describe their position in relation to the red SUV that went through the group?
If you're looking at the SUV, they were just to the left of it.
Okay. Do you know whether they were actually struck by the SUV?
I do not.
But based on their positioning, they would have been how close to the SUV in your best estimate?
Just a couple feet.
You're not able to give an accurate estimate about how fast the SUV was traveling at that point, is that right?
I could.
Okay. Well, please, if you think you can, please tell us how fast you think it was traveling.
I thought around 55.
The black truck that was part of your group, right? That was about the approximate speed of the rest of the parade?
Yeah.
And was the red SUV traveling faster than the black truck?
Yes.
Hold on for direct examination.
All right, and we'll break for lunch. We'll continue with cross-examination after the lunch hour. Please rise for the jury. Mr. Brooks, I referenced this earlier, but you have a statute book, section 908.1, is the start of the statutes that deal with hearsay. It provides a definition of what it is. It goes through statements which are not hearsay, and it has a whole host of exceptions that are referenced in 908.03. So I just direct your attention to that because many of your hearsay objections, they're not hearsay at all, sir. And I hope you're not just saying them just to interpose an objection. But I think it would be very helpful if you were to familiarize yourself with that.
For the record, Your Honor, how do I know that the prosecution isn't objecting to anything based on the same assumptions?
I don't understand what you're saying.
A lot of
you have
times.
that statute book, so if you'd like to read the hearsay statute, start with 908.01, continue with 908.02, the rule, and 908.03 are all the exceptions, continues with 908.04. I realize you are not a lawyer, Mr. Brooks, but you still should have a good faith basis to make the objection and then not argue with me when I rule on the objection. All right? The state will give its one word or statement. If it's self-evident to the court, I don't need the parties to even say at all. But that's primarily why your objections based on hearsay. There was one I sustained because it was in fact calling for hearsay. When a witness has knowledge, hold on, when a witness is not asked to say what another person has said, assuming there's no exception that applies or it's just not hearsay under the rule, and they have otherwise personal knowledge about something, they can provide that answer. So I'm hoping that's helpful to you as you formulate your objections. Of course, I'll keep ruling on them. I just ask that when I rule on them, you not interpose the same objection before the witness has answered. Person may answer, your objection stands, it's noted, it doesn't need to be said again.
I'm not informed. I don't understand how
You say he's not informed.
someone can testify to things being told in the hospital. They're not a family member, a parent, or anything. So how would
You're
they
not
know
informed?
what injuries someone would have? How would that information be disclosed to someone without being a parent or a direct relative? That would be hearsay.
So again, people can testify based on personal knowledge. What's hearsay is when it comes into court and they say, so-and-so told me. If they say, I was told, or again, I think you're confusing personal knowledge with hearsay. So you can question people on how they knew that information, but you do that at your peril, because if you open the door for them to tell you how they know, then potentially hearsay is going to come in. So with that, I just wanted to give you that information. I can't obviously further explain to you, sir, other than to say ignorance of the law is not something you can use as a valid defense or you keep saying I don't understand.
I don't.
You did this of your own free will. You waived your right to an attorney, and the ignorance that you claim is not
Ignorance
valid at this
is
point, sir.
not.
So
I
with
also
that,
altered that
They don't-
contract.
they not-
You
they
accepted
don't
the
care about
contract
your
in the way that I
ignorance
sent
to
it
the
back to you.
law.
Now let's
sir,
be
we don't
fair.
have a contract
They don't-
together. The
We
contract
do
was
not.
being
You're right.
misapplied in this circumstance. All right, we are in recess. I'll see everyone. Let's be back at 1:30. Thank you, everyone.
Walk off, Judge
We'll go back
Doyle.
on then in State versus Brooks. Appearances are as they were this morning. Do we have Ms. Gajewski available? All right, bring her in and we'll bring the jury in as soon as she's up here for her cross-exam.
He looks so defeated
State that I
today.
do consent to that name, nor do I know any
That's your
individual by that
name.
name.
For the record. All right, Ms. Gajewski, if you would please make your way back to the witness stand. And as soon as you are there, I will have the jury brought out. All right, go ahead.
On the record, before the jury comes out, I would like to direct Your Honor to a case United States versus Cotton 535.
If you have a motion, you need to put it in writing, and then I will address it. I'm not deal with any oral motions right now. So if you're asking me to reconsider something, you need to follow the proper procedure.
What is the proper procedure, Your Honor?
I've told you repeatedly what a motion is. So And if it's a reconsideration, 806.07 is the statute I would direct your attention to.
It's not a reconsideration. It's just bringing up the subject matter jurisdiction again. Which
Sir, I've already dealt with this repeatedly. So any further times you want me to address it, you need to put it in writing for the court to consider a proper motion with the relief that you're requesting, the legal basis, and the facts upon which you are relying.
Fool, I'm gonna have to make a
not just simply a case. I want a motion.
Subject matter
put in several motions that have yet to be
I've
mentioned.
already addressed them. The jury's on its way out. I'm not going to delay the start of this cross-examination for this argument yet again. I've already addressed it. The fact that it's the afternoon doesn't mean I need to address it again. Jury's coming out.
It's going to continue to be brought up. It's going to continue to be brought up, Your Honor. It hasn't been proven that you have jurisdiction, that this court has jurisdiction. I think it's relevant. Subject matter jurisdiction can't be forfeited away if you know that. By not answering, Your Honor.
Please, the jury's coming out.
By not answering, Your Honor, you're agreeing to a tactic agreement. Is that a judicial determination that you don't have to answer? I'll take that as a yes.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, Mr. Brooks, you may question the witness if you have any questions for her.
I don't consent to being called that name. Is that noted for the record, Your Honor?
Ask your questions, please.
Is it noted for the record, Your Honor? As you testified to earlier, you were present at the Christmas parade on November 21st of 2021. That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember about how long you intended to be at the parade?
Just until we finished the route.
It was a few exhibits that you stated on record that you weren't familiar with seeing. Would that be fair to say?
Once clarified, I say that I remembered seeing.
So you saw those videos before today?
Yes.
About how many times do you recall seeing them before today?
Just once.
Do you recall who showed them to you?
Yes.
You stated for the record and for the jury?
Yeah, the state.
And who would you be referring to when you say the state?
The three seated next to you.
Are you referring to the opposite table next to me?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that. She identified the three prosecutors sitting at the prosecution table.
The record will so reflect.
Do you recall knowing if you would possibly be called to testify?
Yes.
Were you expecting to testify?
Yes, I got a letter in the mail.
Do you recall if that letter was a subpoena?
Yes, it was a subpoena.
You frequently referred to the vehicle as the car. Do you recall those statements?
Yes.
So, for clarification, what type of vehicle did you see that day? Was it a car?
It was a Ford SUV.
And how were you able to determine the make and model of the vehicle?
Objection. Not describe the model.
Rounds.
She may answer the question.
So when I first saw it, I made a point to figure out what car it was, not the license plate, and I knew it was either that an Escape or a Mini. And then as the vehicle got closer to me, I saw the Ford emblem. That's how I knew it was a Ford.
And during those determinations of the make and model of the vehicle, did you catch a description of the driver?
No, I did not.
Any reason why you would be more focused on the make and model of the vehicle instead of who was driving the vehicle?
I can't tell you why. I just made sure I knew.
Those her eyes. She can look where she want to
And you
look.
didn't try to see if you can spot a license plate at any time?
It all happened way too fast.
So would it be fair to say that it happened fast enough for you to not be able to make out the model and make of the vehicle?
No, I knew exactly what it was.
But not exactly who was driving the vehicle?
No, I did not look who was driving it, just the make.
You stated that you observed some girls from your dance team in the hospital. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you stated that a few of them were laying on the ground?
Yes.
Any idea why they would be laying on the ground in the hospital?
Because there was so many people, there wasn't enough room. So people were standing, sitting, and laying on the ground because the rooms were overflowed.
Were they being attended to at that time?
No, because there was too many people.
Did you recall feeling like maybe they should have been attended to, seeing as how they may have been seriously injured?
The nurses were attending to who needed it immediately. The nurses were doing the best they could.
So it would be fair to say that the girls that you observed on the ground weren't of immediate concern to the nurses at that time?
At that time, they weren't.
Were you injured in any way during this incident?
What? I was not.
And you testified earlier to the approximate speed of the vehicle. Do you recall what your answer was?
Yeah, about 55 miles per hour.
And how were you able to come to that determination?
Because I've drove for a couple years now, and that's just the number that came to my head. Because when I drive, I know what 55 feels like, and I know what 25 feels like, and that was just my best guess.
So it would be fair to say that you were making an assumption. You didn't know for sure.
Nope. Yeah, that was just my best guess.
Of course. They not in the car with you looking at the speedometer.
You know woman by the name of Sam. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And what relation do you have to Sam? Is she just part of the dance group or close friend? Or?
Yeah, she's part of the dance group, but I became super close with her ever since I started working there.
Do you recall seeing her struck by the vehicle?
No.
Do you remember where she was at the time that you saw the vehicle pass you?
Yes, she was on the front left side. If you're looking towards the truck that was in our group, she was on the left side in front, first row.
Would it be fair to say that from that angle that you would be able to see her if she was struck?
I was turned the other way. She was behind my back.
So you don't know for sure where she was at when the vehicle passed you?
I do. She was in her formation that I had put her in.
Do you know if anyone was standing there or in that position with her at that time?
She has her own spot, and there was girls behind her and next to her, but she would have been the only dancer in her spot.
So it would have been people in her general area, but not directly next to her?
Yeah, they have space in between all of them.
Do you remember what you did immediately after the vehicle passed you?
Yep, I ran to Alice, and I picked her up immediately.
In regards to your dance team, did you observe anyone struck?
I just remember seeing bodies in the air, but I can't say I remember seeing a vehicle hit them. I remember seeing bodies in the air and on the ground.
So at that point, it would be fair to say that you didn't know if the people that were on the ground or in the air or whatnot were in fact struck by a vehicle?
Well, I did know it was the vehicle because I turned around and I saw the vehicle coming towards them, and then I think I blacked out until they actually were in the air and on the ground.
By blacked out, what do you mean by that? State that, what that means for the jury and for the record.
So I can't see anything, but I can hear it. So when I say blackout, I mean I can't visualize it, but I can hear it happening.
Was that the first time that you ever had a blackout?
Yeah.
So what happened before that day?
Never.
Any idea what caused it on that day?
You?
No. Stress. Shock.
And you stated that you got into a ambulance and with someone who was struck and then left the parade at that point?
A squad car, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. A squad. You left at that point?
Yeah.
Do you recall about what I was? Do you recall how long you were with the person being transported at that time?
No, I wasn't worried about time.
Do you recall if anyone was walking directly next to you at the time of the incident?
I was walking next to the girls on my team that got struck.
Do you recall walking next to Sam or Sam walking next to you?
No, she was behind me.
Do you recall making the statement that, and this is, I'm guessing, in a summary report given to Detective Schwartz, do you recall being interviewed by Detective Schwartz?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you recall making a statement that Samantha was walking next to you?
No, I don't recall that.
Have enough time to tell Sam to move?
Yes.
And this was the same Sam that you just testified that you did not see struck, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I didn't see her hit.
So it'd be fair to say that you made the statement that you didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but didn't actually see what happened to her.
Because she was on the same side as me, and that's why I was saying I didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but I wasn't next to her.
Any idea what may have stopped you from being able to see what happened?
Because I blacked out.
At the point that you blacked out, at that point you didn't see anyone struck. Would that be fair to say?
I don't remember exactly the vehicle hitting, but I just remember bodies flying. I think I kind of tried to block it out.
Do you recall making a statement that everything happened so fast?
Yes.
But not fast enough for you to identify the vehicle?
Nope. I remember exactly what the vehicle was.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any damage at that point?
I was only paying attention to what kind of make it was because I could see the body of it was an SUV, and like I said, I thought it was either the make with the Mercury or a Ford, and so I was just paying attention to the emblem when the girl got closer and I saw it was a Ford. I wasn't looking for any damage.
About how close would you estimate the vehicle came to you?
I don't know.
Did it get close to you?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Do you remember what side of the road you were on when you blacked out?
If you are looking at the truck, I was on the left side. So if you're walking in the parade, I was on the left side. But I had turned around, and so I was on the right side because I was looking at the vehicle.
So at what point did your memory go fuzzy?
So I turned around and I saw a car or an SUV, and I told myself, "You're crazy. You don't see that." And then all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. I can hear it, and then after, I remember seeing the bodies. So I would say I blacked out from when I saw the vehicle to after it passed.
Any idea how long that may have been, roughly, if you recall?
A second.
So pretty much like the snap of a finger.
Yeah, because it went by so fast.
And from your recollection, that was quick enough for you to miss anybody being struck?
I blacked out, so I didn't see them physically get hit.
Outside of Detective Schwartz, were you interviewed by any other law enforcement?
No, I only gave that statement, and that was it.
What about at the hospital? Were you interviewed at the hospital?
No, I was not.
Did you call yourself to make a report about what you saw that evening?
No, I went and gave the statement right after I left the hospital, and that was it.
Did you do any follow-up to see if your report was received by anyone in law enforcement?
No.
Anybody from law enforcement contact you about the statement that you gave?
No.
Do you recall at any time reading or seeing a complaint in this matter?
No.
Do you recall at any time filing any claim in this matter?
No. Are you saying with the police department?
Yes, with the police.
Yeah, no, I just gave a statement and that was it.
Would you consider yourself a party to this matter? Grounds.
Sustained. I'm wrong this time.
Do you recall if you were contacted by the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds. Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer.
Can you, who the plaintiff is?
I'm asking you, are you aware of the plaintiff? Were you contacted by the plaintiff at any time?
I don't know what the plaintiff is.
The plaintiff would be whoever is bringing the claim for the charges in the matter.
So not, then yeah.
Yeah, what, you were contacted?
Objection.
She answered yes. I'll ask her grounds.
Objection. Hold on.
Objection. Move to strike.
Grounds.
Legal analysis.
Grounds.
And the defendant is testified.
I'll sustain
Grounds.
the objection.
Grounds.
Grant the request to strike the question and the answer for the reasons given by the state. You may rephrase if you'd like.
Who were you contacted about testifying?
The state.
And that, I'm assuming the state of Wisconsin, correct?
I just know them as the state, right there.
Right there, as in referring to the prosecution table?
Correct.
Let the record show that she identified the state as the 3 attorneys at the prosecution table.
Record will still reflect.
And do you recall having a conversation with the state?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you would identify the state as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you see the plaintiff in the courtroom today?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
So as far as you know, in your opinion, who would you say is the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Were you present at the parade with any family that day?
No.
Just 1 second. And when you visited the hospital, how did you learn of the injuries to any of your dance team partners?
Which hospital are you referring to?
I only heard you say Memorial. You might have said 2. I think you said Children's one time too. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's correct.
I guess I would be referring to Memorial.
So the only injury, well, not even injury, I only knew Julia had something wrong with her brain at the time because they saw spinal fluid coming out of her nose.
And were you told that directly from a doctor?
I heard them freaking out and rushing her to a CT scan because I was right next to her, helping them as she seized and vomited.
So you overheard from the nurses what the diagnosis was?
Yes.
What about for Sam?
Are you referring to the night of?
Yes. When I'm guessing you saw her at some point that night.
I did not see her that night.
Did you see her at any point?
I did. I was there at the hospital the first day she was able to have a visitor.
And were you told directly by medical professionals at the time that you were able to see her of any possible injuries?
I wasn't told by them. She actually called me.
Can I strike that answer for hearsay? Right?
No, you asked the question.
The answer was hearsay.
Did you ask the question?
You.
In the days after the incident, did you have quite a few interactions with the dance team?
Yeah, we tried to keep ourselves busy and we did a lot of things together.
Did you attend any visuals or any memorials or anything like that?
Yes, I did.
Did you stay for the record and for the jury? How many?
I believe it was on Monday. I went to that vigil.
That would be the only one that you attended?
Yeah, that was the only one they had.
Were you aware of things set up financially for the victims?
Can you repeat that?
Were you aware of any for example, like GoFundMe's or donations or anything for the victims? Were you aware of anything like that going on in the days after the incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevant.
Sustained.
Did you yourself donate to any causes associated with the incident?
I did not.
Relevant.
Are you still currently a member of the dance team?
Can you tell me which one you're referring to?
Was it Stream Dance Team?
Yeah, I'm not. I do not work there anymore.
And was that decision made by the incident or was it just a personal decision?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
You testified earlier to having the blackout and that being the first time that happened. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Have you had any blackouts any time since that day?
No.
First and only time would be that day.
Correct.
No further questions.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Gajewski, with respect to that blackout, you testified that you don't have a visual memory of the SUV actually striking any girls that day. Is that right?
Correct.
You testified, however, that you remember what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Describe that.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so it sounded like those big orange construction cones just being hit. That's what I remember it as.
You do have a visual memory of the immediate aftermath of the strike?
I do.
And what is that memory?
Hearsay.
You may answer. It's overruled.
Just pure chaos. Shoes everywhere, palms everywhere, bodies, people screaming, running around. Just chaos.
When asked on cross-examination what caused your blackout, you said stress and shock. You remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
At any time in your life before November 21st of 2021, had you ever witnessed an SUV drive through a group of young women?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
What about any time since November 21st, 2021?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
No.
That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. She may.
Thank you. Call Jamie Sutton.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Thank you. Please have a seat. The first thing I would like you to do is to state your first and last names for the record, and then spell each.
First name, Jamie Sutton, Jaimie. Last name, Sutton, Sutton.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Sutton, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Do you have an affiliate, or have you ever had an affiliation with the Extreme Dance Group here in Waukesha?
Yes, I worked there last year.
How long did you work for Extreme?
From May of 2021 to April of 2022.
What was your role with the organization?
I was a coach for the junior team.
What's the approximate age range of the junior team?
About 8 to 11 years old.
The people were part of that group, the junior group.
10.
And did you participate with your dance team in the Waukesha Christmas Parade on November 21st of last year?
Yes.
You yourself were actually present for the parade?
Yes.
Did you attend as spectators, or did you march in the parade?
I marched in the parade.
With your girls?
Yes.
Do you remember approaching the 5 Points intersection?
Yes.
Do you remember what happened at that intersection?
A car drove along my left side.
Do you see yourself on screen?
Yes.
So that's a touch screen in front of you. Can you use your finger and circle yourself for us? Okay, so what's on your head?
I have a gray hat on.
Gotcha. Based on the video that we've seen so far in this exhibit, did it appear to you as though the girls were maintaining their position in the group?
Yes.
Okay. Can we display for the witness exhibit number 33 and publish this as well, please? I would like you, Ms. Sutton, to please take a few minutes or moments and look at this exhibit. Read all the names. Let me know when you're done.
Okay.
The boxes with names in them, are they accurately represented in this diagram based on where they were in the formation in real life?
Yes.
Okay. I now would like to play for the witness only exhibit number 36, please. We're going to play from the beginning, and we're going to turn the audio on.
Your Honor, is the video playing at the right speed?
We'll double check for Mr. Rose. We should get it at 100%. Yep.
It just wasn't turned up. So that means when it was just showed, it wasn't playing at the right speed.
I think I can just very simply clarify. To adjust the speed, you have to change it to see what it's set at. So it was at 100%, and it is now back at 100%.
I object to that for the record.
We're shut
So
up.
it wasn't at the right speed.
The record reflects the statement made by Attorney Urel regarding the speed, and the court accepts that. Go ahead.
And objection.
If possible, if you can, I'd like you to identify some people in the frame for us, okay?
Yes.
How many people do you see laying on the ground, Ms. Sutton?
I see one person lying on the ground in this frame.
And can you circle them for us? Who is that?
That is Vivian.
What's her last name?
Urel.
At the moment that the SUV first made contact with your group, where were you in relation to the rest of the group?
I was towards the back right side of the
Right, as in standing in the road and looking down the parade route?
Yes.
Okay. Based on your position in the road and your memory from that day, are you able to identify anybody else who's depicted in the video at this point?
I believe that's Olivia Stover in the left.
And what color is her hair? Could you please circle Olivia's?
Face.
Oh, God.
Noted.
We're shut up.
Speed is received, and the annotation will be captured and preserved for the record.
Ms. Sutton, can you walk us through your memory of what happened as the SUV began to go through your group?
Yes, I was in the back right with some of our younger teams and was helping them get information. And I heard some yelling behind me, some screaming, and I looked over my left shoulder. And just as I looked over my left shoulder, there was a red car that drove through. By the time I looked, it was already hitting our girls.
So what happened next?
Girls that were not injured started to run over to the sidewalk. So I started to gather them all in one area.
What happened next?
I tried to reunite those that I could with their parents. Those that I couldn't, I took with me, and I heard there was an active shooter. So we went into Chef Pam's kitchen and hid out there until we were told it was all clear to go to our cars.
Chef Pam's Kitchen is a business, a storefront on Main Street?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
After that, I went to my car, went to the hospital, and did my police statements.
In the immediate aftermath after the SUV came through your group, did you at any point see a person named Charlotte Urel?
Not that day.
Okay. You know who Charlotte Urel is?
Yes.
Can you explain for us her relationship to the extreme dancer?
Overrule. Give me the answer.
She is the older sister of 2 of the Waukesha extreme dancers.
Was she with your group in the parade?
Yes, she was handing out candy.
Okay. And you said you didn't see Charlotte that day. When did you next see her?
Well, I saw her that day before it started, but I didn't see her in the aftermath.
Okay. When did you see her? After the SUV went through the group, when's the next time you saw Charlotte Urel?
Weeks later at the dance studio.
Okay. And did you make any observations of Charlotte at that time?
She was on crutches.
Do you know why she was on crutches?
She was hit by the car.
During the parade?
Yes.
The red SUV we saw in the videos you watched?
Yes.
Okay. What about Grayson Urel? Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Who's that?
He is the younger brother of 2 of the Waukesha extreme dancers.
Did you see Grayson Urel marching with your group during the Christmas parade?
Yes.
Before the SUV came through the group?
Yes.
Did you see Grayson Urel at any point after the SUV came through?
Not that day.
When is the next time after the SUV came through your group that you saw Grayson?
Weeks later when he was discharged from the hospital after being hit from the red SUV.
Okay. And what personal observations did you make of Grayson at that time?
He had a large cast on his arm. I believe he might have been in a wheelchair or crutches.
Can you describe for us the uniform that your girls were wearing that day?
They were wearing black leggings, black Waukesha extreme jackets, white Santa hats with light-up headbands attached to them, white light-up gloves, and white pom-poms.
Could we please display for the witness only exhibit number 102.
Wow, look how you looking at her.
This is a red SUV that is smashed up. And there's a white light-up headband on what used to be the side mirror.
Do you recognize that white light-up headband?
Yes.
What is it?
Overrule. Give me the answer.
That is one of the headbands that was over our girls' white Santa hats.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for this witness?
Yeah. Do you recall what time you arrived at the parade that evening?
The parade started at 4. I believe I was there around 3:30.
Did you come with anybody?
I came with Alyssa.
Would it be fair to say that you guys are pretty close?
Yes.
Do you recall giving a statement to Detective Schwartz?
I gave a statement to a deputy. I don't know their name.
Do you recall at what time that was roughly after the incident?
It was around 6:30 that night.
Do you remember where you were when you gave this?
They were at the transit center, the Waukesha Transit Center.
And when did you first notice a vehicle approaching?
I heard screaming and yelling behind me, and that was when I looked over my left shoulder.
Do you recall how close the vehicle was to you at the time where you looked over your left shoulder?
It was on the left side, and I was on the far right, so it wasn't very close to me.
Were you able to identify any driver of the vehicle?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you referred to the vehicle numerous times as a car?
Yes.
Would it also be fair to say that you then identified it as an SUV?
Yes.
So what exactly did you see? What type of vehicle did you actually see, an SUV or a car?
It was an SUV.
Any reason why you would refer to it as car?
I refer to all cars as just cars, no matter what they are. If it's a truck, it's still a car.
Would it be fair to say that certain vehicles look different than others?
Absolutely.
At what point do you recall hearing that there may have been an active shooter?
When I was gathering the girls who hadn't been hit, a man came up to me and said that there was an active shooter amongst all of that.
Do you recall if that was somebody marching in a parade or a spectator? Or
I'm not sure.
were they law enforcement?
No.
Did you hear shots?
No.
Where did you go from there after you were informed that there may be an active shooter?
I went into Chef Pam's kitchen.
Did you go in there alone? Or?
No, people were piling in there, and I had several girls with me, several dancers with me.
You were shown a few videos. Do you recall seeing those before today?
Yes.
How many times have you seen them before today?
At least 10 times.
So pretty frequently you've seen them.
Oh, wow.
Would it be fair to say that you saw those numerous times to maybe bring back something you couldn't recall?
Yes.
You state for the record and for the jury who showed you these videos multiple times?
They were sent to me.
So that were they sent via email or?
Over text message.
Text messages.
Yeah.
And can you state for the record and for the jury who the text messages were sent from?
Alyssa.
So they weren't sent by any law enforcement or?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, can you recall how Alyssa was able to obtain the videos that you saw today?
I'm not sure.
So she never mentioned that to you in any way, at any time?
No.
Were you able to identify the driver?
No.
Were you able to identify a license plate number?
No.
Were you injured during the incident in any way?
No.
Did you go to the hospital after the event?
Yes.
Were you transported there or did you drive there yourself? Or?
My fiance drove me there.
Do you recall how long you stayed at the hospital?
Not long. I was told just to go get a police statement.
So it would be fair to say that you went to the hospital strictly for the police statement?
I went to the hospital to see if the girls that I had unaccounted for were at the hospital.
And were you able to gain information that you were seeking?
Yes.
So that would explain the brief stay at the hospital?
Yes.
Did you learn any additional information at that point?
Nope.
Do you recall in the statement that you gave to the Detective Schwartz that you observed people running towards the sidewalk?
Yes.
Did you see anyone on the sidewalk struck by the vehicle?
No.
Do you recall stating that you were waiting inside of a building for what seemed like a long time?
Yes.
And what would you estimate time-wise what time frame that would be?
Probably.
Object here and ask for clarification about what building we're talking about.
So take us to the form of the question, please rephrase.
Well, from the report, it just said they needed to seek your inside of a building, so it didn't say the name of the building in the report. I guess that's why I didn't refer to a specific name of the building.
Please rephrase.
How long would you estimate you seek shelter?
Probably around an hour.
And did you immediately leave from that point?
I made sure all of my girls were reunited with their parents and family members. And once they were all reunited, then I left.
Do you recall giving a written statement?
Yes.
Do you recall who you gave the written statement to?
No.
Do you recall your written statement saying that it seemed as if something was wrong with the vehicle?
Yes.
And what would you, from your recollection, what would you say was wrong with the vehicle?
It was going very fast. I thought maybe there was brake failure happening because it was going so fast.
And what made you come to that conclusion?
Because there was a car driving through a parade instead of slowly rolling through like the other vehicles.
So it would be fair to say your initial thought was something was wrong with the vehicle?
Yes.
Did you see any smoking from the vehicle, any damage to the vehicle at that point?
No.
Did you observe where the vehicle went after it passed you?
No.
Did you see anyone struck after the vehicle passed you?
Yes.
But to the best of your recollection, you don't recall what the vehicle did after it passed you?
Correct.
Would you say it was pretty loud that night?
Yes.
Pretty windy, cold?
Yes.
After you had been waiting in the building for a while, who came and informed you guys that it was okay to leave at that point?
It was police that came and told us we were clear to go.
Was it one officer or a couple?
Just one.
Two of them?
Just one.
You don't recall their names by chance?
No.
At that point, did you ask the police officers for any information about the active shooter?
No.
About what time would you estimate that you left the parade?
After I got the all clear.
Do you recall what time that was?
I do not recall.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows?
I do not recall.
Were you close enough to the vehicle to make out the make and model of the vehicle?
No.
Do you recall any windows being down or anything like that?
No.
Do you recall anything being tossed from the vehicle, falling out of the vehicle?
No.
So just pretty much just moving straight?
Yes.
About how long would you approximate you watch the travel of the vehicle after it had passed you?
I didn't watch the vehicle after it went past me. I was looking at the dancers on the ground.
So it would be fair to say that once the vehicle passed you, you couldn't see if it struck anyone else at that point?
Correct.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. Please call your next witness.
State calls Detective Mike Carpenter.
Oh, is this my boy?
The one you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat.
Oh, no.
First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Michael Carpenter, first name spelled Michael, last name spelled Carpenter.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Detective, what do you do for a living?
I'm a detective with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
How long have you been a detective?
I've been a detective for approximately 12 years.
How long total in service with the Waukesha Police Department?
Approximately 20 years.
Is that your first job, Waukesha Police Department?
I worked a brief stint for about 6 months each at the Carpenter Field Police Department part-time and the Carpenter Lake Patrol part-time before moving on to the City of Waukesha.
What is your current assignment as a detective?
I'm in the computer forensics unit.
What type of things do you do in that unit?
Analyze digital data, digital video recorders, cell phones, regular computers, pretty much anything that can hold digital media.
Okay. Did you conduct a speed analysis in this case?
Yes, I did.
Can you walk us through, when you set out to conduct a speed analysis, first of all, what is it, and how do you go about conducting that analysis?
Basically, throughout reviewing video for this incident, we wanted to determine if there was a way to get an accurate speed from the red SUV. I've been through some training, certified as an input ACE examiner, that's a software we use, and we determined that there were cameras that existed along the parade route on West Main Street that may have held useful information. Specifically, we were looking for surveillance video that was still in its native proprietary format, that would still hold that metadata that would let us conduct a speed analysis. I did locate Bosco Social Club, which is a bar located at 260 West Main Street in the City of Waukesha, that had a proprietary format that I believe that let us do that analysis.
How many cameras were fixed to the Bosco's storefront?
There were two, one on the southwest side of the building and one on the southeast, at least that we use. I believe they also have video inside and towards the rear of the establishment, but we were concerned with the cameras facing West Main Street.
So once you get the surveillance video, what do you do with it?
I viewed the video to determine if it would be suitable. The video was in pretty high quality. I could see the vehicle really traveling westbound on West Main Street, so we believe that we'd be able to explore that further and try to conduct the analysis from that.
So what did you do?
The next step was we had to determine what an accurate frame rate was for the camera. Most surveillance systems have what's called variable frame rate. In defining frame, basically a video is a series of still images or frames put together to show motion. However, that can vary from frame to frame. That timing may not be exactly the same. We went down to Bosco's and placed a device in front of each camera called a VFR light board that's supplied and calibrated by the company Input Ace. We placed it in front of each camera, and that board's got a series of flashing lights that have timing in them. Recorded a video of that board for each camera, and then returned to my lab and placed that into the Input Ace software, and we were able to calculate the timing more accurately between each frame, so we had a more scientific approach to it.
What did you do with that information?
Once I had that information, prior to having that information, I'd also asked Specialist Plata of our Criminal Evidence Forensics Unit, or Traditional Forensics, to respond to the area of Bosco's and use the department's, it's called FARO, F-A-R-O, their 3D laser crime scene mapping device. They mapped various points in front of Bosco's, and we were able to basically find the orientation and position that the eastbound camera was facing. And then once that was done, we could take a screenshot of that 3D scan, which measures, my understanding, millions of points. Once I had that done, I was able to bring that into Input Ace software to begin the overlay process where I could overlay the images on top of each other. So we brought the screenshot of the 3D scan in, brought a partial video in of the red SUV traveling westbound, and began to compare points from the 3D scan and the video, and began to plot those points. For instance, a intersecting crack in the sidewalk. If I could see the 3D scan, I would plot that point and then match it up in the video. Do that over a number of points, and then that enables us to lay the video identically on top of the 3D scan. Once that was complete, then that's where we started bringing in the lightboard video to find out the timing, to find out how many milliseconds or seconds passed in this incident. In this particular video, I was concerned with frames 35 through 60 of that vehicle traveling westbound. Once I obtained the timing from the VFR lightboard, I determined that, with the assistance of the software, that the average was 0.834 seconds had passed in those 25 frames that vehicle, or I'm sorry, 26 frames that vehicle continued westbound. What that does, it then gives me a low end and a high end that I can use for a margin of error. So it said the longest time it would take for the vehicle to travel westbound through those 26 frames would be 0.838 seconds, and the quickest time that it could pass through those 26 frames would be 0.830 seconds. Once I had that information, I was able to completely overlay the video onto the 3D scan, and I could start at frame 35, and it enables me to overlay it within the 3D scanning software, and I was able to drop a small point, the clearest point of reference in view as there were people around the area. I was able to pick the passenger's wheel and drop a point directly center of that wheel, advance frame by frame until I was at frame 60, drop another point, and then I can use a slider to go back and forth to have the vehicle present or just the 3D scanning. Once I had just the 3D scanning, then I could take and measure the distance from that first point in frame 35 to the last point in frame 60. And I was able to calculate that, input that in with the different measurements of 0.838 seconds and 0.830. When I did that within the software, it told me that the distance was 12.7477 meters. When I converted that to feet, I believe it was 41.8231 feet. That allowed me to compare it with the fastest the vehicle could travel and the slowest that the vehicle could travel. And with the margin of error, convert that to feet per second and then miles per hour, which came up with a measurement for those 26 frames of 33.7 to 34.6 miles per hour in those particular frames.
So you're basically measuring what? Walk us through the screen here. What are you measuring?
So as soon as the red SUV came into view of the video traveling westbound, once I had a frame where there was no obstruction, I could see the full passenger side tire. That's where I dropped my first point, and then I let the SUV continue westbound until I found another spot where there was no obstruction. Now, when I overlaid it between the 3D software and the video I have here, during this video, there's no foliage on the branches. During the 3D scan, there is foliage, so that blocked a little bit, so I had to stop a little earlier than what I wanted. But I was just basically measuring how far that SUV or that wheel traveled during those frames in that amount of time.
Okay, so you're measuring distance and time.
Yes.
And from that, you're calculating speed.
Yes.
And you've already talked about the different variables that you took into consideration, right?
Yes.
And that resulted in, what's your ultimate conclusion?
33.7 to 34.6 miles per hour.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Cross.
Very, very briefly. You stated earlier that in reference to traveling through frames that sometimes you may encounter problems with the estimation. Would that be correct?
No, I believe that was my testimony.
You testified to at one point or another that sometimes exact timing of speed could be a little inaccurate.
No, I don't believe that properly characterizes.
What were you referring to at that?
I was referring to digital video recording systems. They use something that's called variable frame rate. I can't say that every single one does, but almost all of them do. That from frame to frame, it could change by a millisecond, hundreds of milliseconds. To do this the most accurate scientific way possible, that's why we conducted it the way we did with the variable frame rate.
So there can be sometimes miscalculations. Is that fair to say?
I don't believe so in the way you performed it, no.
Well, I was referring to the process in general, which you just stated that sometimes by milliseconds, hundreds of milliseconds, a millisecond, that sometimes there can be miscalculation.
I'm not sure I completely understand the question. Are you asking in this specific example or just in general?
The process in general.
Somebody conducting an analysis a completely different way, it's possible, but in this analysis from my training experience is the most scientifically possible way we can do it.
Before this occasion, had you used the same method that you used for this occasion?
Yes.
How many times?
I had not used it in a live case yet. This was our first chance to do this, but I've done it a number of times in our training examples.
But the first time you've done it in a live case?
Yes.
Can you state for the jury what is the difference between a live case and any other case?
There really is no difference. The training examples are hands-on. The process we follow through all those examples to establish competency is exactly the same way we do it for any other investigation.
So if they're pretty much the same, why is it a need for the title live if they're pretty much the same?
It was just a term I used to say this was the first investigation we used it in.
So were the other cases just pretty standard cases then, not live investigations?
They were training examples that came from actual investigations that those agencies gave permission for their case files and their data to be shared as a training example and to recreate their examinations.
So they weren't active investigations to the best of your knowledge?
Correct. They were adjudicating. So
this time that you used this technology was the first time to your knowledge that it was during a live investigation?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that that's like the first time it's being used?
In the city of Waukesha or in general? I'm not sure I'm understanding.
Is it fair to say that this specific investigation was the first time that you've used it?
Did I personally use the software or
yes.
that somebody has used it?
You.
This was the first time I personally used the software as our agency recently purchased it, and this was the first case we were able to use it on.
And so would it be fair to say that usually anyone's first time using new technology, there would be a learning curve? Would that be fair to say?
I would say no.
So you would say you came right into using this new technology the first time you've ever personally used it and knew exactly how to work it?
I would say over my career, especially with conducting digital forensic examinations, I had over 1,500 hours of training in various aspects. I'm a certified trainer. I hold a certified forensic computer examiner certification through the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists, along with other certifications as well. I obtained multiple certifications from Input-Ace, the company that put on the training for this process, for this device, for video analysis, and we tend to follow principles throughout all the different disciplines, and the training's quite intensive, quite difficult, so over that time, you develop the skills necessary to be able to start using software, using your techniques to do these investigations right away.
Awesome. You're stating some pretty nice credentials there, but you also just said that there's some difficulty in the training. Would any of that difficulty lean towards the learning curve of working the software?
In my opinion, for myself, no.
So you pretty much can come into new technology and just know exactly how to work it. You're just ready to go.
Objection.
Grounds. Answer. Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer.
This particular, if we're talking strictly about video analysis, I attended a 40-hour class using the software Input-Ace along with forensic video analysis at the National Computer Forensic Institute, run by the Secret Service in Alabama. And then I also obtained several certifications through Input-Ace themselves. So having approximately 80 hours of training through the video software, this was not much of a learning curve, as I had previously been using Input-Ace software for approximately 2 years.
So this new technology was a variation of, well, let me back up a bit. What you're saying is this new technology was a variation of technology that you had already previously been using.
Objection. This characterizes the evidence.
Grounds.
This is not new technology.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question. You may re-ask.
Before using this technology in this live investigation, as you coined it, have you previously heard of this technology before using it in this live investigation?
Yes.
Any idea how long it may have been being used before you used it?
My best knowledge has been around for several years. We first started investigating it in approximately January.
January of 2022?
Yes.
You are aware that this live investigation would have been a live investigation in November of 2021. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
So it would also be fair to say that if your department didn't start using this technology until January of 2022, how were you able to use it in November of 2021?
This was not conducted in November of 2021. Once we learned about methods when we were trying to locate a more scientific way to do a speed analysis, discovered this method, the training that the company put on. We had to obtain budgetary funds. It was approximately $4,000. Then we had to schedule the training. The training was supposed to be earlier in the spring, and a couple of the instructors came down with COVID, so the classes got pushed back to summer. They provided me with all the online training videos so I could go through, watch those, start prepping myself as much as I could, and then this summer we actually had the class with the hands-on examples, and that's when they provided the certification. And after that is when we actually went out and were able to do the speed analysis based on the videos that we had from November 21st.
So the bulk of your learning to work this technology was done via video?
Video and live instruction.
And that live instruction was in the summer, as you stated, correct?
They don't do it all in one segment, so it was completed with an instructor between, I believe, May and the beginning of August.
So when did you, around what time did you do this analysis?
I believe I performed the actual analysis somewhere around the middle of August. I can't remember the exact date.
So pretty recent.
Yes.
Any idea why so long, considering that this matter has been going on for roughly a year?
Objection, has an answer.
Grounds.
In the last 3 to 5 months.
Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer.
We just wanted to make sure that we had all the proper equipment, the proper training, all the proper documentation, certifications for myself and the device before we went out and did the actual analysis.
So your department thought it would be best to hold off on the analysis until you got everything in order?
Yes, until we had the certifications to make sure they were valid.
Would it be fair to say that that's a pretty lengthy amount of time to wait to do an analysis in a case that's a pretty case?
No, I would not say that.
Have you ever had that sort of delay before in any other line of investigations?
I can't recall specifically if there's been something that delayed our analysis of another piece of evidence, another investigation, but there is a delay to sometimes purchasing equipment for a new piece of technology or a new type of training. When we start talking about digital forensics, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars for equipment and often anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 for a week-long of training for something particular.
So there's a delay because of the financial part of the investigations, or I'm not sure I'm getting with.
Sometimes there can be.
Any idea how that might apply to this live investigation?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
How the financial part of the equipment, and as you say, sometimes things can get expensive. Would that apply to this live investigation, or why the delay was so long?
Of course, this is expensive. It's an expensive trial, sir.
In January, again, is when we first started looking at this. We had to obtain the funding, schedule the training, wait for the company to host the training, and all those things before we were ready to proceed with it.
Who you were referred to do the analysis?
As far as
basically who taught you to do it. I'm quite sure you're not the only person that does what you does out of your department. Would that be fair to say?
No, that would not be fair. I am currently right now the only one certified in forensic video analysis.
So who tapped you to be the video analysis for this particular case?
I was the only one at our agency.
He the only one, didn't he? Just
who contacted your agency?
Detective Casey.
And who does Detective Casey work for from your knowledge?
City Waukesha Police Department.
To the best of your knowledge, was Detective Casey made aware that it would be a long wait before the analysis can get completed?
Yes, we had discussions about it.
Was Detective Casey informed that it would be such a lengthy delay? Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer.
Not initially. This was supposed to be done a lot earlier in the year. However, due to the limited number of classes they have scheduled, where they're scheduled, and the fact that COVID unfortunately canceled a couple of the classes, that did increase the delay, which I did have conversations with Detective Casey about, advising him that it would be a little bit longer.
Were there any, I guess I would say, suggestions that maybe you could use a different technology that wouldn't have caused such a long delay?
Not for video analysis, no.
So what video analysis were you doing before this new technology that you just started using?
This technology was specific to speed analysis.
So there was no technology specific to speed analysis before this new technology?
Not that I'm trained to know.
So would there have been someone else tapped to do the analysis if it wasn't for this new method?
I was concerned with video analysis, and I'm the only one at our agency that can conduct video analysis this time. As far as other methods outside of digital forensics or forensic video analysis, I wouldn't have any expertise or knowledge to speak on those.
I'm a little confused, because do you do video and speed analysis, or one of the other? Because you just stated, and I think it would be fair to ask, did you just not state that this was pertaining to speed analysis?
Yes, I do video analysis for all types of cases, whatever is requested. I'm trained to measure speed from strictly video analysis. I'm not trained to estimate speed through other means of investigation.
So how were you able to come up with an analysis of speed in this investigation?
Based on the technique that I described earlier in my testimony of using the 3D scanning software, overlaying the video of the suspect vehicle traveling westbound on Main Street, plotting the points, and then measuring the distance over the time.
Was there any other method? Well, let me back up. Was there any other technology that you could have utilized that same method without a delay? Ground.
Sustained.
You stated that you've done speed analysis numerous times. Would that be fair to say?
In what regards? In what example?
To any cases before this one?
In training examples, not in investigation done by our agency.
So it'd be fair to say you yourself haven't done very many speed analysis.
I can give you a firm number of how many we did in training over that time. But no,
not we, you. I'm asking specific to you yourself.
Outside of this current investigation, I have not currently performed any for any other agency yet, no.
So would it be fair to say that maybe you could have been off on a few of your analysis, being that it was your first time doing it in a live investigation, as you coined it?
No, I would say that.
Grounds.
Hold on. What's the objection?
Calls for speculation and argumentative.
Browns. That Browns and that.
Mr. Russell,
Browns.
My question was that would it be fair to say that since he's stated that this was his first time doing a speed analysis in a live investigation, and he pretty much haven't done it before, would it be fair to say that maybe he could have been off a little bit on his calculations, being that it was his first time?
Overall, if you may answer.
I would say no to that.
Good question,
With this,
Brooks.
again, following the premise of digital forensics, it's a scientific process. We the technique, we follow the process, we follow the standards. It's designed to be verifiable and repeatable by anybody else that would have that training and that software performant. The files can be turned over to another person with equal training. They should be able to walk step by step and still come to the same conclusion. So I would say I'm confident in the speed that was obtained.
So if someone else can come to the same conclusions that you came to, is it fair to say that someone else a little more experienced could have been tapped to do the speed analysis instead of yourself?
We didn't have anybody more experienced in this area or our agency for this particular method.
Is it possible that a different agency could have been tapped to do the speed analysis?
This is out of the witness' personal knowledge.
Browns.
Sustain this to the form of the question.
Besides yourself, do you know of anybody that can do this analysis and come to the same conclusions as yourself?
No, the company that provided the training. Other than that, I do not know anybody personally in this area or other investigators to use this specific technique.
Would it be fair to say that you weren't the only one being trained through video and the like?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
You stated that
What?
you have to be trained in this form of doing the analysis. You stated the classes were, I think, from May to August. You stated, would that be fair to say?
Yes.
What I'm asking is, were you the only person that was taking those classes?
There were people from other countries, other states, wide ranges of specialties, paralegals, accident reconstructionists, forensic investigators, things of that nature.
Anybody in Wisconsin that you know of?
Not that I know of, no.
From any other departments that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
So it would be fair to say that you're not sure?
I don't know who has exactly what piece of software in each location, but I've not heard of anybody else in this area having the ability to do the speed analysis through video.
So it would be fair to say you're not sure?
Can you clarify one more time, please?
I was pretty direct.
Mr. Brooks,
No.
he doesn't understand your question. That's why he's asking.
Can't understand
You
your
know,
question,
anyone else
sir.
that was taking the same training to operate the same equipment and technology that you...
Personally, if that's what you're asking.
So it would be fair to say that you're not sure?
I can say with confidence that nobody in the classes that I was enrolled in were from the state of Wisconsin. There were people from other countries, other states. That's really all I know about that.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
Typically during our classes, we go through an introduction, where we work, where we're from, where we work, who for.
So it's kind of like, because you did state that they were kind of like videos, so I'm assuming that would be online. Would that be fair to say?
It was live online training, yes.
So it would pretty much be like a classroom from an online setting.
Objection hasn't answered, and I would, relevance.
It's been asked and answered, so sustain next question.
About how long did it take when you started to do the analysis? How long did it take from the point that you started into completion?
To put everything together, and it wasn't worked on all at the same time because we had to do the camera overlay, we had to go get the readings from the variable frame light board, and then start putting all that together. I would say hours-wise, I would say probably someplace between 20 and 24 hours to put it all together.
So about roughly a day?
Well, work days probably 3 days or so.
Would it be any reason why if you knew that you were being certified for that analysis, would it be any reason why you wouldn't start getting things in place beforehand to be ready to go as soon as you needed to be ready to go?
I had the surveillance videos that we were using from Bosco Social Club in place. I asked Specialist Platt and Specialist Schmidt to assist with the 3D scanning prior to having the last certification in place, so that everything was there and ready to go once I had that certification.
So it would be fair to say that you had help in getting everything ready?
With the 3D scan.
Were you at any time trained in the 3D scanning?
I'm not currently trained in the operation of the affair. That's why I requested Specialist Platt and Specialist Schmidt to perform that scan.
Do you know if those two specialists, I missed the name, so I don't want to butcher them, so I'm just not going to say it, but it'd be fair to say it was two.
Yes.
Were any of those two trained in the same speed analysis training as yourself?
No, they are trained in forensic crime scene mapping using the 3D scanner, not digital forensics or video analysis.
Would it be fair to say that even though they are not trained in the same area as yourself, that they were an essential key part to putting everything together?
The 3D scanning software is an essential function to be able to perform this particular analysis, yes.
So it would have been, it's fair to say it would have been a task if you would have had to do it by yourself?
I wouldn't be able to perform the analysis without the 3D scanning.
Did that in any way cause any delay? What date you started the analysis? Browns.
Yeah, you asked that already.
Overruled, you may answer.
I believe the 3D scanning took place on the early morning hours of, I want to say, August 10th. When I had Specialist Platt and Schmidt to perform the 3D scan, they went back downtown early in the morning to try and do it when there was little vehicles as possible on the roadway so that it wouldn't interfere with the actual diagram scan. I want to say the last certification was obtained somewhere right around August 16th, and then it was putting everything together afterwards.
I'm sorry, did you state the last certification was obtained around August 16th?
The last training class, yes.
So at the time that you started, you weren't yet certified?
I had not started anything as far as the speed analysis prior to that.
Why would you be starting the prep for the analysis if you were not yet certified?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is the formal question.
You just stated that the preparations to do the analysis started around August 10th. Is that correct?
The preparations by Specialist Platt and Specialist Schmidt as to the crime scene mapping was done on August 10th.
So when did you come into the fold to start doing your part of the analysis?
My part of the analysis originally began with simply reviewing the video, learning what video would be best, what frames I would want to use, which I obtained my training from the National Computer Forensic Institute in video analysis in April of 2021, and went back through the same training through Input Ace and was already certified through them, so I was already certified for the video analysis portion itself. The only thing I was waiting on was the materials necessary for the actual calculations.
And when did you receive those materials to do that part?
The certification was obtained on, I believe, right around August 16th. I can't remember if it was that day exactly,
but it is fair to say that you had already started work before the date of August 16th.
Objection. That's an answer.
Sustained.
So when did you actually start to do the analysis? What date was that? Grounds. Do you know about the date that you completed your analysis?
I believe it was somewhere around August 23rd, 22nd, 23rd.
So it'd be fair to say roughly about a week or so?
Roughly, yes.
And do you recall when you actually turned in the analysis information?
I believe it was around August 23rd, right around there.
Do you recall who you turned the analysis information into?
I turned it into my supervisor, who then electronically forwarded it to the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office.
Any idea how long it took for it to be viewed?
No, I do not know.
At the point that you started your part of the analysis, did you still need the help of the other two people from your department?
No.
So once you started, it was just yourself?
Yes.
And you were confident that you were fully trained, you wouldn't have any hiccups working this technology for the first time?
Correct.
You were pretty sure that you would get everything on point?
Yes.
No further questions.
Thank you. The video in question from Bosco Social Club was recorded during the Christmas parade on November 21st of 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
You went to Bosco's in August to obtain that video, correct? Or I should say, you obtained that video and then in August conducted your speed analysis with it, right?
Yes, that's correct.
August of 2022.
That's fair. August 2022. I stand corrected. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. If you were to clean slate, take that video file, start your calculations here today, would you come to the same conclusion in terms of miles per hour over those 26 frames?
Yes.
Objection, Hearsay.
Overruled. His answer, my stand.
The software that we're talking about is called Input Ace.
Correct. It started off Input Ace in, I believe it was the earlier part of this year, Axon. They also make tasers, body cameras, things like that. They purchased the company. Now it's called, the software is called Axon Investigate. At the start of this, it was called Input Ace.
You're certified to conduct speed analysis using that software?
Yes.
This case is not the first time that you use that software, is that correct?
Correct.
Overruled. You asked him questions about that, so he gets to redirect. You may answer.
Correct.
You use the software to conduct speed analysis on prior occasions, right?
Yes.
As part of your training?
Yes.
Your training involves using the Faro 3D scanning tool, correct? Well,
no,
that was not.
I didn't the answer. So rephrase your question, please.
Sure. During your training to use the Input A software, did you follow the same procedure in terms of using the Faro 3D scanning?
Let's hear
Overruled. Go ahead.
The procedures were the same, however, during training examples. Throughout the country, there's different 3D crime scene scanners out there, Trimble, Leica, Faro, Total. They use various different ones during the training examples of what they had. So the software works similar, the methods were the same, regardless of which 3D scanner you use.
And as a result of that training, multiple times that you use this software to conduct speed analysis, you obtain a certification, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the first person to testify about speed analysis using the Input ACE software in any court in this country?
No, object.
Overruled. His answer, my stand.
So when reference was made during cross-examination about this being new, air quotes, software or new technology, is that an accurate description of the technology?
No.
I was referring to it being new to him, strictly to
Your
himself.
objections noted. His answer may stand. Next question, please.
Is this this tech used exclusively by law enforcement?
No, it's not.
Who else uses it?
Accident reconstructionists, insurance companies, defense attorneys, law enforcement. It's available to anybody that provides payment, goes through the training, things of that nature.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You may step down. All right, this will be a little bit shorter, hopefully about 10 minutes for the jury and the parties. All rise. we take our break, I just want to discuss a little bit of timing since it's a little after 3:30 and how long the state believes the next witness.
The next witness is Ramirez. She is going to take about 10 minutes on direct.
I'd like to wrap up today very close to 4:30, and so if we can keep that in mind. And then I also need to address one other thing, and that is the clerk's office has arrangements for Spanish interpreter for tomorrow from 12 p.m. to 3:30.
Hey, Glenn, how are you? Welcome in. Welcome in.
We'll be utilizing the interpreter.
Well, Your Honor, we can call witnesses out of order. We're behind. I'll be very honest. Today has gone much slower than we anticipated on cross-examination. So, but I understand the arrangements have been made, so we can shift things a little bit and try and accommodate that schedule by the interpreter.
Do you believe you can also have the witness that Mr. Brooks identified needing an interpreter?
I'll check on that during the break, Your Honor.
Thank you. I would appreciate that because then I would like to utilize the interpreter. The only other request, since we were only able to secure one interpreter, would be to put to have a different witness in between the two so that the interpreter has an appropriate break. And then, of course, it will also require us to be mindful of when we take the lunch hour, since the interpreter is available from 12 until 3:30. So we may need to take our lunch maybe at 11:30, and I'm okay if we start a little bit later than noon, but that should give us.
Man, you are on point.
Again, you know, I'm going to say I don't consent to that name, but no questions.
It's 10 minutes to come back. Right, we are officially back on the record. Then appearances as far as they were before. We'll bring the jury out, and then the state may call its next witness. So go ahead.
The jurisdiction, Your Honor.
Oh my God, he getting ready to cut up. I just I paused it for a minute to say hi, Glenn. Welcome in. Glad to see you here. You always stop by and give very insightful commentary in the chat, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you for coming. And yeah, this guy, he's bonkers. So just gotta, I guess, deal with it until at least we know what the outcome was before. But but yeah, he's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. How long do we have for it? Oh, it's not too long for this day.
Perfect time. Is that a judicial detention, Your Honor?
It's denied. I'm not going to address it right now. I've addressed it previously. But
You keep asking about subject matter jurisdiction.
The record speaks for itself.
You determined the subject matter jurisdiction when you went over there and committed this crime.
Can I file the motion
Just please.
without being raising?
I'm going to direct you to file something or not file something. The jury's coming out.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
All right. She's sick of him.
Second agreement. Second agreement.
He is like a little kid.
Statement call its next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Deborah Ramirez.
I do. Thank you. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Deborah Ramirez, Debora, last name Ramirez.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Where do you live? Let's see.
Waukesha.
Okay. Are you familiar with the annual Waukesha Christmas parade?
Yes, we go every year.
Okay. So were you there last year, November 21st of 2021?
I was.
Who were you there with?
My boyfriend, our 4 kids, and my dad.
Okay. Was one of those kids a 12-year-old?
Yes.
What is that child's name?
Isaac.
And what's his last name?
Foglia Ramirez.
Do you remember where you and your family were seated during the parade?
I can't remember the exact street name. We were across the street from Chef Pam's kitchen.
Do you know if you were on Main Street?
Yes.
Do you remember anything significant or out of the ordinary happening while you were watching the parade?
At one point during the parade while we were watching, I remember my boyfriend suddenly screaming, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And then when he screams, I looked to my right, and that's when I saw a red vehicle coming right towards us.
You previously said that you were across the street from Chef Pam's?
Yes.
So you would have been on the south side of the street?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what the vehicle that was speeding towards you looked like?
Speeding.
Sustained is to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
Okay. My mistake. I thought that's what you said. Ms. Ramirez, do you remember what the vehicle looked like as it approached you and your family?
It was a red SUV. That's all I remember.
What happened as it got closer?
I froze as it was coming closer. By the time that I finally tried to move, it was already like right at us, and I was hit on my left foot, left leg.
What area of your left foot and left leg?
It was on top of my left foot. The tire went over my foot.
Where were you positioned in relation to Isaac?
I was standing to the right of Isaac.
Okay. Did you notice whether or not Isaac was hit?
I did not until I didn't know he was hit until after it happened, that he said, "Mom, my leg hurts."
Isaac was standing next to you, you said?
Yes.
And the vehicle ran over your left foot?
Yes.
When you say next to you, do you mean Isaac was immediately to your side, or in front of you, or behind you, or some other description?
He was to my left, standing just probably about a few inches ahead of me.
Okay. What happened after the vehicle ran over your foot?
I fell to the ground, and I was kind of disoriented at first. All I remember was hearing the vehicle speeding past us towards other people, and looking all around me. I just remember seeing a lot of people on the ground as I was looking around to see if my kids were okay.
While you were on the ground, could you hear the sound of the vehicle engine?
The objection is noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
You're so aggravating these objections.
I remember hearing the vehicle as it was. I don't remember hearing the vehicle hitting the brakes. I remember hearing like accelerate enough instead of stopping.
Did you seek medical treatment after the parade?
I seek medical treatment the next day.
Where did you go?
I went to urgent care in Milwaukee.
What injuries did you sustain as a result of the vehicle striking your foot?
I had a...
Oh God, he's gonna ask her why she wait to go to. Oh, I know he's gonna ask that question.
And I had my
my
ankle was sprained. I went to see an orthopedic doctor who said that there was tissue damage.
Did you bring your son Isaac to seek medical treatment at any point after the parade?
I did. Also the next day with me.
Glenn, you seen that look?
Yes.
What injuries did Isaac sustain as a result of this incident?
Sprain on his left leg.
I would like to project for the witness only, the jury as well, Exhibit 36, which has previously been published. Does this depict you and Isaac before, during, or after you were struck?
Before.
Is this an accurate depiction of how you looked that day?
Yes.
Isaac as well?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 43 into evidence and ask to publish.
Where are they in the video?
Your objection is noted. The exhibit number 43 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Okay, just so we know what we're looking at, the screen in front of you is a touch screen. Can you use your finger and circle Isaac for us?
That's so horrible. Look at the people.
And that's the green jacket you described?
Yes.
Okay, and on which side of the screen?
On the middle left.
Okay. Can you circle yourself now, if you see it? And that's the pink jacket you described?
Yep.
Right next to Isaac?
Yes.
All right, we can clear that, please. Can we show the witness only, please? Exhibit number 45. Do you see the picture?
I do.
Okay. And what does this depict?
It looks like a picture of after getting struck by the vehicle.
Do you see either yourself or Isaac in this photo?
I see both.
And is this an accurate picture of how you looked after the vehicle struck?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 45 into evidence and ask to publish.
Can't really see.
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 45 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
You see the photograph in front of you?
Yes.
Are you in that photograph?
I am.
What is this?
That shows me getting up afterwards, after the incident.
Is this an accurate screenshot of how you looked after the SUV came through?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 40 into evidence and ask to publish.
Exhibit 40 is received. Permission to publish is granted. Similar to one of the prior exhibits, you'll notice there are some comments on the right-hand side. The jury is instructed to disregard those when considering this exhibit.
Thank you. Can we zoom in on the middle of this, please? Once again, Mr. Mayor, if you see yourself, could you please circle up yourself for us? Thank you. And do you see Isaac in this screenshot?
I don't.
Okay. We can clear that and zoom back out. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
On that last exhibit, because you just said that.
We'll take that up outside the presence of the jury. Don't let me forget. All right, then go ahead.
We all know he's not. You ain't gonna let you forget.
That you went to the urgent care in Milwaukee the next day. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Why would you wait to?
What was the day delay?
I knew it.
As I was trying to find my other child who was at the parade but not with, like, right with me, among all the other people that were injured, I was able to see how many people were on the ground needing immediate help, how much blood was on the ground at that time, that I chose to wait until the next day since I knew I was hurt, but I did not need immediate attention as other people did.
So you had went home for the evening and decided to just go to urgent care the next day?
Yes.
So from your recollection, you weren't in need of immediate medical attention?
I was in need of medical attention, but not immediately.
Any reason why you didn't take your son to seek immediate attention?
He was able to walk out of there with me. He was limping, but he was able to walk out of there with me. So that's why we decided to wait until the next day.
Do you recall giving an interview with a detective agent?
I remember giving an interview. I don't recall his name.
Do you recall the date that you gave the interview?
I can't remember.
Was it a few days after the incident, a week? Or?
She'll need one. Talk to him. She
Any
like,
idea why it took
listen.
a few days to make a report?
We were in touch right away. It just took a few days for us to set up the interview.
Did you seek to make a report the evening of the incident?
No.
Any reason why?
I was in shock.
So at the time, you didn't feel like you needed to make a report immediately? Would that be fair to say?
As I said before, I was in shock.
These questions just make
I got
things
home
worse.
with a basically mental breakdown. So I was crying when I got home. I did not think of anything else.
You stated your boyfriend was with you that evening. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you know if he was injured in any way?
He was not.
You stated that you heard him saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Do you know where he went from that moment?
He proceeded to move backwards to not get hurt.
In the videos that you saw, did you see him in the video anywhere?
I can't remember.
So it'd be fair to say that you couldn't see him in the videos that you just saw like 2-3 minutes ago.
I could see myself and Isaac. I remember what we were wearing. I cannot remember what he was wearing.
Any reason why you remember what you and your son was wearing, but not your boyfriend who was present with you at the incident?
Because I'm the one that dresses myself and my child. I don't know what he wears at that time, at any time.
Do you remember seeing him after directly after the incident?
I do.
Did he leave with you when you left to go home?
He did, yes.
And you were also there with other children
Yes.
of yours, correct?
Yes.
Were any of those children hurt in the incident?
Just scrapes from moving out of the way, but not hurt by the vehicle.
So they weren't struck by the vehicle to your knowledge?
They were not.
Do you recall where they were when the vehicle passed you?
Where they were exactly when the vehicle passed, I know that they were to the right of me. I believe they were behind me at the time.
Do you know about how far approximately from you they were?
I do not.
Do you remember if you were next to an intersection or a cross street?
To the left of me, there was an intersection. I was not directly at the intersection, as there were more people to the left of me.
Do you remember what intersection that was?
As I have stated before, I can't remember exactly which intersection it was. I just remember being across the street from Chef Pam's kitchen.
Do we have Exhibit 15, I believe it is?
Yeah.
Can you pull that up for us?
Permission granted?
Can you make out your names on that screen?
Yes.
Can you see the black line pointing to a star?
I can.
Where would you estimate that is?
That looks like it's on Main Street and Broadway.
So it would be fair to say that cross street was in fact Broadway?
Yes.
Can it reflect that the cross street of Broadway is identified? Okay.
The record will still reflect.
Do you see the red line right there under the star inside of the police badge?
Yes.
Do you know what that red line indicates?
I do not.
Do you know if there was a barrier at that intersection?
I remember seeing barriers. I cannot recall if there was one at that intersection.
Do you recall where you saw the barriers at?
I don't recall.
Did you see the barriers anywhere in your vicinity, your immediate vicinity where you were stationed at?
Like I said, I can't remember.
Do you recall what you were, oh, let me back up. Do you recall seeing the vehicle approach? Did the vehicle strike that? Were you able to estimate how fast the vehicle was traveling at that point when it was approaching?
I wouldn't know how fast it was traveling.
Could you make the make and model of the vehicle that was approaching?
All I remember is there was a red SUV. I can't remember I wasn't able to see what the make and model was.
Did you see the driver?
I did not.
Were there any tints to the vehicle that you recall?
I can't remember.
Did you catch the license plate number?
I did not.
License plate. License plate, he says. Like
Yes, I did.
place.
After it passed you?
Before it passed me.
After it passed you?
It says clear.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone once it passed you?
I did not.
Do you recall your boyfriend taking a video of the incident?
Yes, I do.
Have you seen that video?
Yes, I have.
Was that video given to any law enforcement that you recall?
It was not.
Any reason why?
Because when the vehicle came towards us, it was moving way too much because of him moving back, and it was too blurry to see anything.
So it'd be fair to say the video was pretty much disregarded at that point?
Yes.
Any reason why it was disregarded?
You could hear the screaming, but as I said, you could not see anything.
So it was fair to say it was disregarded because the video, in fact, could not, you couldn't see anything from the video?
Yes.
And when you and your son were treated for your injuries at urgent care in Pewaukee, about how long did the treatment last before you were discharged?
We were there for at least an hour.
Why so briefly?
What?
What's his name?
Were you given any pain medication during your treatment?
Objection, relevant.
Rounds.
Hold on, she may answer.
Why so soon?
Do you know if your son was given any pain medication at that time?
No, he was not.
Do you recall it being pretty loud out there that evening?
Yes, I do.
Pretty windy, pretty cold?
I can't remember.
It'd be fair to say it was chilly enough to wear a jacket or a coat. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
You remember?
Fair to say that maybe it was a little, it was windy enough to wear a winter cap?
Yes.
Do you recall
remember?
wearing a winter cap? And do you recall if you had it pulled low, possibly over your ears?
No.
You don't recall? I'm sorry, I didn't know what the nose to. That's why.
I was wearing a headband. I was not wearing a cap.
It'd be fair to just say that you just said you was wearing a cap.
No, you asked if I recalled if I was wearing one. I said yes, I recall.
That you were wearing a cap.
I recall if I was, and it was a winter headband.
I might have been confused. I apologize.
Last question, please.
I don't consent to that now, Your Honor, for the record. Do you put anyone wearing a winter cap?
Don't recall.
After your actual treatment at urgent care in Pewaukee, did you receive any more treatment after that?
Yes, I did.
Did your son receive any more treatment after that?
He did not.
No further questions.
Please redirect.
On cross-examination, you testified that you saw other people get struck before the SUV got to you and your family, right?
Yes.
What group in the parade was in front of you at the moment that the SUV got to your family?
Extreme dance.
Did you see those girls get hit?
I did.
Did you see the aftermath after the SUV went through that area?
Yes, I did.
Based on what you saw with those girls getting hit, if you and Isaac had been standing 18 inches to the north, do you think you would have delayed until the next day to seek medical treatment?
Objection, that's subjective.
Sustained.
I don't have anything else for this witness. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You may sit down. All right, we will at least stop with testimony for the day. With that, you are excused for the day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. All rise for the jury, please. All right, thank you, please.
Uh-oh.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I cut off because I wanted you to raise whatever the issue was outside the presence of the jury. I don't know if you had a question or an objection or a comment, but go ahead.
I forgot what part you cut me off on.
Well, it had to do with the one of the exhibits, and it's the second time it's happened where I told the jury to disregard comments that are visible on the exhibit.
Yeah, is it a way that I mean, because that was the one that was the steel frame, right?
Correct. We've seen it before on the video.
Can I cut that part out so that way it just make it easier?
So at this point,
He
the exhibits have been received.
is just arguing about anything
what may
right
happen
now.
is ultimately when they're deliberating, they may ask to see exhibits, and if that happens, then I'll have to make a determination about whether those exhibits are given to the jurors. There might be copies that are there or shown if that's the type of exhibit we're talking about, and then we'll go from there. So it's a little bit premature, but I hope that answers your question.
I do believe you were more than clear when you told them to disregard it. So that part was definitely clear. The worry would be if they were shown that in deliberations.
We'll cross that bridge if that becomes an issue.
Yeah, I just don't want it to.
I understand.
Just for the record, we're talking about exhibit 40. That's the exhibit that Mr. Brooks, the defendant subjected to, and then we put on pause until the jury was out of it.
It was exhibit 40. You instructed the jury to disregard the comments on the right. I don't know. I'll have to look back through my notes on this happened another time. It may have been maybe the same.
I think it's the video of the screenshot came from.
Exactly. All right. Then, does the state have any information for me about the witness and whether you'll need the interpreter for tomorrow?
No, we do not believe we will need the interpreter for any of the state's witnesses, Your Honor. We did secure Juan Marquez to be here at noon, so that as soon as we start from the afternoon break, we could take his testimony out of order.
All right. Mr. Brooks, do you understand that?
No. But
well, let me advise you, sir, that
She
since there's an
explained it to
interpreter
you the
and this
other
court has
day,
been going
so-
through making, not myself, but the clerk's office, to make arrangements as it relates to this interpreter, I'm going to have you call that witness. It'll be out of order. That's not unusual. That happens sometimes, but we at least have that witness available starting at noon. If all goes well, we'll take an early lunch about 11:30. We'll take an hour, and then we'll put Mr. Marquez on at 12:30, you'll do the initial questioning. The state will then do the cross, okay? Did you hear me advising of that?
I'm informed.
All right. And then the other thing I just want to put on the record today is that, again, Mr. Brooks does not have the headphones on. I did not notice any apparent difficulties with your hearing. I wanted to also make a record that, especially as it relates to the cross-examination of Detective Carpenter, which I would describe as a technical expert witness, there was some very articulate, clear, cogent, and salient questions were asked by Mr. Brooks, especially regarding when the technology was obtained. He questioned him about such topics as it was a live case and what that meant, the reliability of the software, the equipment, even the financial issues, but not issues, but just how it was obtained, his training, his experience. Asking questions regarding did he provide, for example, speed analysis for any other cases and things of that nature. You're certainly questioning other witnesses about whether they've watched videos previously that would go, to their credibility, which is ultimately a jury determination. But I just wanted to put that on the record and commend you for that. Any other issues from either party today? From you, sir?
We still got the issue about the 13th subpoena.
So my understanding is you filled it out, or do you need to fill it out?
It's been filled out. I just wanted to know. I didn't know when it was going to be addressed.
So my understanding, and let me confer with the state, did the subpoena get turned over to the state? The 13th subpoena.
I don't believe it has, no.
It's the witness is the one who the state previously advised us lived out of state. That's the person we're talking about, correct?
And that's the issue.
So the state's not obligated. I'm just going to cut to the chase. The state's not obligated to make any kind of travel arrangements or otherwise serve the subpoena on someone who's out of state. There's procedures in the statutes. I'm not going to lay those out for you. This is one of those things. I'd refer you back to when we went through the waiver of right to attorney form and about how the court can't explain procedure or the law, that you're put in the same position as an attorney who's been practicing here in the state of Wisconsin. I am not going to require the state to make arrangements for an out-of-state witness. That falls on you.
For the record, I have to be licensed to be held to the same standard as a licensed attorney. I don't want to get into that because I don't want you to think I'm trying to argue.
I disagree with your legal assessment. Who told you that? So your objection's noted for the record. But you're a party to this case, sir, and parties that are self-represented can do things that attorneys can do. A party doesn't need an attorney, for example, to secure a subpoena.
That's why they told
you. With that, I believe that addresses the 13th subpoena. Any other issues?
I intended to have 13 witnesses. So if I'm obviously not able to call the 13th witness, how do I get my 13th witness?
I can't answer that, sir.
Will I still be able to have 13th witness?
You have to name the person. The due date was on Monday. So who would be your 13th witness then, sir?
I would have to look on my original witness list to get the 13th witness. I know that was my target, was 13.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll let you look through that tonight.
He is arguing about nothing right now.
But you're going to have to fill out another subpoena then.
That's fair.
And I can't promise that they'll be able to do that, but we'll see what they have to say tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I do want to state also for the record, if I'm able to hear you very well, is because I'm actually in the courtroom with you, which I have been the last few days here.
I would agree with that assessment, sir.
That's why I'm able to hear much more clearly.
All right, thank you for making that record. I appreciate it. Any other issues from the state?
Nothing, Judge, thank you.
All right, we'll see everyone then tomorrow morning at 8.
So we are through day 4 of Mr. Grounds, and he asked some really good questions today. He did. He wasn't asking. He started out asking about the plaintiff and all that stuff, but it seems like by the end of the day, the last couple of witnesses, that he had let that go, which we're also happy and we're also grateful that you let that go. But just as Judge Darrell just said to him, I can't teach you the law, sir. We done had so many, we met many times regarding this. You were told the disadvantage that you would have representing yourself. So right now, you are Darrell Brooks, the attorney, the soft-sit attorney, right? Okay, that's why you listen to, when people try to tell you stuff, sir, you have to listen to them. But you have a very long time to sit back and reflect. from what you did to the community of Waukesha. That's all that I'm saying. All right. I'm tired of these, people, getting arrested, and you can tell or that they committed the crime. Everybody is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Hold on. Who is this? Is this Night? Hi, Private Ross. Oh, you did? Hold on one second. You went you from Wisconsin, and as a boy you took a field trip to Waupun Prison where Darrell is. Private Ross, how was it? I was a correction officer for 7.5 years for every in the state of New Jersey. So I worked as a correction officer for the county for I think it was the 7 years, and then I transferred to the state, and then I left after that. That's not something that I didn't want to do. So I left, but how is that that prison? And I'm hoping that you guys are healing well. We still pray for the community of Waukesha daily. And our heart goes out to you guys, because I know the anniversary is coming up, and it has to be hard. Oh yeah, that's, you know what, most jails are, unless like somebody just built a new jail, or they had or unless they got the jail remodeled. So they mostly, all of them, even the courtrooms, are a lot of these courtrooms, like you see if you're into true crime, you watch a lot of the court proceedings. You see the courtrooms are very old. I went to a courtroom in Jersey here. It was going south, and oh my goodness, their courtroom looked like it was the first courtroom that was ever built. So yeah, they don't really update, do remodeling of prisons. They don't really do too much remodeling. So it is what it is. But I hear so many people talk about the jail conditions and this, that, and the third. So when I was a correction officer, to me, the jail is only going to be as clean as you're in charge of every aspect of these inmates' lives when you're there. Thank you for stopping by, Private Ross 99, and I do appreciate you. But so I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna get on out of here. But it's only the correction officers that are in those facilities are supposed to oversee that. So if you have to work there at least 8 to 16 hours, you want to be sure that the environment that you are in is as clean as possible. And I'm so glad the jail that I did work in, all of the correction officers were on the same page when it came to that. Because we kind of ran a pretty tight ship when it came to that. Because you have to be in there, and a lot of times, your shift is 8 hours, but if the next shift is calling out and your name is the next one up, for them to say, hey, we got good news and bad news, which one you want to hear first? Just give me the bad news first. The bad news is you not going home today, you stuck. The good news is you're going to make some extra money because it's overtime. But there's a lot of time. I wrote a lot of reports for creative, like, you stuck, get the report ready. Go to the person, go to the person behind me, because I'm not staying today. But yeah, when I was correctional officer, I was so young, but I made a lot of money as a correction officer when I started. I had gotten at a really good time. The contract was in negotiations and stuff, so I started at the regular salary start pay, but like within 3 months they settled the contract and they had to move me up right under top pay. So I just had gotten at a good time, and then plus all the overtime, you stuck, you ain't going home, you're gonna make some money today. You're not, and on the holidays, it was just horrible. And so that's one of the reasons why I left, is because my son was when I started as a correction officer, my son was 5 months or something, was 5 or 6 months, and I had never like spent a full like holidays with him. I was stuck in a jail, and a lot of times I'm working 8 to 4, and it's just like I'm just getting stuck because the next shift, the good old boys that got together, the family got together, they throwing it back. They can't make it into work, so you stuck. You're gonna make some extra money. But anyway, our prayers, Private Ross, goes out to you and the Waukesha community, and I keep you guys in my prayers daily. This is so wrong. This was so wrong on so many levels. And November 21st is so close to Christmas, and it's the holiday season that's coming up. And you guys have to I'm sure the community is not over it. So I'm sure that it's hard, like, to get through these times, because it just didn't hurt the people that were hurt, or the families that lost somebody. It hurt the whole community. And so Waukesha needs to know that, the world still talks about this case, and the world is still, bothered by this case. So there's a lot of injustices that go on. We all know that. And like right now, like we see some of that stuff playing out. But when somebody commits a crime like this or something like that, like, all bets is off. You did this thing, and then you want to come into the courtroom and re-traumatize these people. Yeah, you know what? I did too, Private Ross. I watched this trial numerous times. He did get sentenced a month ago. He still had charges for the ex-girlfriend, Erica Banks. He did get sentenced. He had an attorney represent him. Not that it mattered. You got like 1,000 and something years from Judge Darrell already. So why was you going to go in there? I think his mindset at first was he was going to make them come to court for this because he wants to punish his ex-girlfriend. That's all that it is that he wants to do. He's upset. So he wanted to punish her. But somehow, when it came time for this case, he did let an attorney stand in for him. He took he accepted an Alford plea when it comes to Erica, saying that he's not admitting any guilt, but he does understand that the evidence that they have is overwhelming, probably, and you're probably going to be convicted of this. I mean, what more is it going to do? This is the prayers I have for Darrell Brooks. First of all, I would like, God to come on in the room, in your room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I want God to send down the imagery. And when he sleeps, he should see people falling because he should see those visuals in his mind. That was all one. My second prayer is that he has met his Bubba. And anybody that knows, I'm going to just say it like that. I hope him and Bubba is having a good time, because all this nonsense you did in this courtroom here, all the, effery that you did in this courtroom, you deserve whatever it is that's coming to you. And I'm just going to say it like that because I don't want to, I don't want to, I'm trying to keep, I don't want that to come back on me. But whatever the Lord sees fit and whatever Bubba sees fit, let it be. All right, y'all. So I'm about to get out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the Rewind with me. I end all of my shows the same way. And I advise to please get your mammograms, fill on your booties, and make sure that you are all right. All right. And this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as everybody should know. This year, I wanted to bring awareness. Yes, when you use it in that way, Private Ross, yes, it's a weapon, a deadly weapon. That truck was like had it. I don't like looking at the truck because I start seeing the people like in a parade, and then to look at the truck, it was a lot. It was a lot. So I want to educate you men, the men that and let you know that you too can get breast cancer. I know that men are macho and breast can't. They probably have an issue with the word breast because that's how men are built, right? So you can call it pec cancer, chest cancer, whatever you want to call it. But men get breast cancer too. So to the men that are listening, or if you're coming on the replay, I need you to do me a favor. If you're feeling any discomfort in your chest pec area, if you feel any type of lumps on your chest pec area, I need you to go to your doctor and tell your doctor, please test me for breast cancer. Men get breast cancer too. And like I said, I think that it is a big stigma. Like even like if you go to the doctor and you're a man, it's a big stigma because of the word breast. It's just a name that, I guess have tomatoes, tomato, potatoes, potato. Same thing. I just want men to be aware that they can get breast cancer. It is a thing. It's just not a woman's disease. So I need you guys to make sure that you're staying aware and, knowing your bodies and when something doesn't feel right. But you may have to ask them to check you for breast cancer because, they want to say it's a lot of it. I'm not going to say that they're saying, but a lot of people just don't know that men can get breast cancer too. And I just want to spread that awareness to make sure that, the men know that if you're feeling something in that area, please go get checked. Please request that they check you for breast cancer. It is a thing. You guys can get breast cancer also. It's just not a woman's disease. I'm very, very passionate when it comes to breast cancer. And I'm telling you, early detection is the best protection. Early detection is the best protection because the earlier they catch it, the easier it will be to treat, depending. Now, they told me the type of breast cancer that I had, I'm not supposed to be sitting here today. Here I am because only God has the last say. And you have to shift your mindset when you're going through something like this or you receive a diagnosis. You have to shift your mindset. And before I go, I am going to share this with you guys. So I am a self-published author. And so this was the last thing that was on my bucket list, was to write my story. So the name of my book is on the screen. It's Surviving Strong, Overcoming Triple Negative Breast Cancer with a Resilient Mindset. And it's available on Amazon. So in the book, I just shared my journey, and then I shared my successes after after I was done with treatment and everything else. I went on to do so many other things afterwards, and very, very blessed to have been able to do some of the things that I had did, and to be in some of the rooms that I was in. And so I'm grateful for that. But I am just, when it comes to breast cancer or any type of cancer, I just need you to get checked. You don't have time. You don't have 6 months, and you're gonna go and decide and see what you're gonna do. You don't have all that time. So if you're given a diagnosis, I know it may be hard. Everybody can't just shift their mindset like that, but then you can. So that's how I had to attack my treatment after, the shift went off in my mind. But the shift went off in my mind. My mind shifted the day that they called to tell me that I had breast cancer. And so, on the way home, my daughter was 5 months old. My son was 13. I had 2 children at home, and they needed their mother. And I wasn't ready to check out yet. So I already knew that I was healed. I just needed to go through the motions. So I just wanted to share that all with you. And then, and that is my book. If you want to support your girl during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that's fine. And if not, that's okay too. I believe you can read it on Kindle. I put it on Kindle, but the Kindle version is a little different than the book, because with the book, with Kindle, you can only do so much. I'm not talking about Audible. Kindle is different from Audible. They kind of show you everything and flip through it. Kindle I think they're missing the first 2 pages of the book, but it's fine. So I did that one. That was the last time that was the last thing that was on my bucket list. So, like I said, I want to thank you all for coming. I want you to make sure. Did I think it was poison ivy? No. No. No, I didn't think that. I know I thought it was maybe because I had just had a child 5 months ago. So I was thinking maybe it's milk. We lactate after you have a baby. So, but I wanted to be safe, not sorry, and it definitely was not milk. So, so ladies and gentlemen, there is a card that you can get from the doctor's office. So if you go anywhere where they are where they promote breast cancer and finding a cure, they have these placards that you can put on your shower, and you can conduct a self breast examination. I found my own lump by doing this. So I encourage everybody, if you don't know how to do it properly, that you can get those placards to hang in the shower, so to make sure that you're doing it correctly. But if you feel anything, lumps or anything that's going on, call a doctor. So you don't have time to wait. Let them check it out and tell you that it's nothing, versus you don't want to hear that, because that's not what you want to hear. But the sooner you get to it, the sooner you can get through it. All right. And so I'm going to end the show out with telling you all that don't you dare let anybody come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I am Survivor Speaks, And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for stopping by. Hit that like on the way out. Share. Next time you come, bring a friend. Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, I'm a survivor. If you asked how I'm still standing, I can only give you one reply, and that is God don't play about me and mine. I'm a survivor. God is not through with me yet. I'm a survivor. God gets all the glory. I'm just asking what's next. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna feel us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. What else would you think? I'm a survivor, and beyond the chemo room, my black is pink. I'm a survivor. They are gonna feel us on this G.O.D. I'm a survivor.